Welcome to the Joe N. Idolette Jr. TEC, this evening's School Board's Awards and Presentations meeting. I ask that out of respect for everyone, please silence all electronic devices at this time. Call the meeting to order at 5:30, and I would like to recognize the superintendent for a series of awards and presentations. Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'll turn it over to Public Information Officer, Ms. Maddox.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thanks for being here tonight. We have a few very special presentations tonight. Our first one, we'll start out with our Casual for a Cause. We're excited to recognize our March Casual for a Cause organization, the Ocean Research and Conservation Association, better known as ORCA. Casual for a Cause is a special day across our district when students and staff have the opportunity to dress down in exchange for a donation, all to support a meaningful cause. Thanks to the generosity and spirit of our SDIRC community, we raised a total of $1,778.98 in March to support ORCA's important mission of protecting and restoring our local waterways. At this time, we'd like to invite Jasmine Schwadron, ORCA's education specialist, to come forward as we proudly present her with a check for $1,778.98. We'd also like to recognize the school that raised the most funds during the campaign, which was Storm Grove Middle School, contributing an impressive $342.32. Thank you to all of our students, staff, and schools who participated. Your support helps make a real impact in our community and environment. Congratulations, ORCA, and thank you for the incredible work that you do. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you guys so much. My name is Jasmine Schwadron. I'm the Education Specialist at the Ocean Research and Conservation Association. I just wanted to let you guys know that this funding will allow us to continue to expand our education and citizen science projects within Indian River County, as well as offering internship and mentorship opportunities for Indian River County students. We will continue to implement programs like A Day in the Life of the Indian River Lagoon, which introduces students to real-world data collection and analysis, as well as ORCA's Data Jam, a competition that merges art and science, where students will use art to depict real trends that we see in our data, and a variety of lessons around Indian River County schools. We hope that through these programs, we will continue to cultivate an ethic of care, concern, and stewardship for the Indian River Lagoon and its watershed, offer meaningful participation in real-world scientific research and environmental problem solving, open pathways to real science and scientific literacy, and build relationships with schools, students, volunteers, community organizations to develop a conservation-focused community. And this would not be possible without efforts from those like you, so thank you guys so, so much. We really appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you.
For our next presentation, we would like to recognize our 2025 National Merit Scholarship Program finalists. Our first finalist is from Sebastian River High School, Jaylen Luna. She's an International Baccalaureate Diploma Program candidate and a member of the National Honor Society. She's been recognized for a perfect score on the FAST ELA test in 2023, and College Board has recognized her in their national recognition programs: Rural and Small Town, Hispanic, First Generation. She is BACE and AEST certified. Those are biotech certifications. And she's been a volunteer at Fellsmere Elementary School Extended Day Program from 2022 through 2025. She's part of the FAU Junior Scientist Fellows Program in 2023 and 24, where she presented research at FAU's Indian River Lagoon Symposium and has volunteered over 240 hours to our community. Jaylen, would you come up?
We're going to announce all of them first?
We're gonna introduce one more person.
Okay.
Our next National Merit Scholarship Program finalist is also from Sebastian River High School, and her name is Eleanor Hall. She's an IB diploma candidate who has a true love for all things chemistry. She was selected by College Board for the National Rural and Small Town Recognition Award in 2024. Eleanor is a member of the National Honor Society, a varsity athlete in weightlifting and lacrosse, and has volunteered over 225 hours and works part-time at a local bakery. Eleanor, come on up. Congratulations. Let's take some photos.
There we go. Got it. All right. Let me scooch you over a little bit, probably.
Right in the middle. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. All right, can we get families in? You have to take a picture.
That's incredible, girls.
Teachers, whoever's here with us before.
Your hair looks good.
great.
All right, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Congratulations.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Next, we have our academic signing day ceremony, and I would like to turn this over to Dr. Brian McMahon.
Thank you very much. Tonight we're excited to continue a special program, recognize our academic all-stars. I mean no disrespect to the school board. This is my favorite meeting of the year. Has nothing to do with the other meetings. I just love this one. So if you don't mind, we're actually going to have them sign at the dais. And if you guys don't mind, if you'll come and join the audience, I think we've cleared this first row of chairs out where Kristen is directing. So this is the 5th year we have done this celebration. Each school nominates 5 students to represent their school. And I have to tell you, they are all-stars both in and out of school. We're doing things a little differently. It was in the past where I would read their accomplishments, but we thought it might be a little bit interesting to hear them talk about their own accomplishments. So Kristen and Mr. Chris Heiser put together a video to introduce them. We're going to start with Vero Beach High School, and as the video introduces, as each student is introduced in the video, they will walk up and join us on the stage. And I want to point out, so between what they offered and what their schools offered, everything, I know you can't really see it, I started underlining the things that they have accomplished that's not in their video. My word. Like, you're going to hear some of the things, just know, like, their accomplishments are twice, 3 times as much. You're going to even wonder, when the heck did they have time to study? I got to tell you, all 10 have over a 3.5 GPA. 6 of them have, 6 out of 10, have over a 4.5 GPA. That's out of 4. That means that more than half their classes were AP, IB, honors, those kinds of classes, and they got a heap of A's. So these are very accomplished graduates. So family members, staff members, this really is the culmination of a K-12 system. It's to hear the stories of these students graduating and all the things that they've accomplished this year. They also have chosen to honor a teacher. And so when they walk in, they're going to have their family members as well as their honorary teacher to be up with them. And they're going to sign a certificate. You may have seen in different social media when athletes sign their national intent or letter of intent. It's similar to that. They're going to sign a certificate. It's not committing themselves to anything. It's just a certificate of accomplishment. So with that, without further ado, if you'll do me a favor, if you're here for a specific person, hold applause. The video will go through all 5 kids. There's not really time to applaud, so at the very end, you'll have a chance to applaud. So with that, Let's welcome our Vero Beach High School Academic All-Stars.
Hello, my name is Olivia Diaz. I will be attending the University of Chicago in the fall to study political science. I've been so grateful to be engaged in so many different extracurricular activities here at Vero Beach High School. Currently, I'm serving as student government president of the student body here, and I've also served as junior class vice president. I've also been involved in the orchestra here all 4 years of high school. I've been playing since I was 6, and I'm currently section leader of second violins here in the Philharmonic Orchestra. I've also been a part of the Model United Nations Club as co-president. And then some extracurriculars outside of school. I do 4-H, and I'm also involved in the Vero Beach Chamber Community Orchestra. And for the future, I plan to go to law school after my undergraduate degree and pursue a career in immigration law.
Hi, I'm Carrie Wynn. I'm a senior here at Vero Beach High School, and I plan on attending Indian River State College to get my Associates of Arts degree, then transferring to the School of Nursing. Here at Vero Beach High School, I am a 4-year Air Force JROTC cadet. Over the 4 years, I've been awarded Cadet of the Year 4 consecutive years in a row. I've also been on the Superintendent and Student Advisory Council for 4 years. I am the Hope Club president. I've been in Hope Club for 4 years. I have been on Dance Marathon Club for 2 years. I've been on SGA all 4 years. I was freshman class president and junior class president. And my future plans are to get my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing and to become an RN and to hopefully someday come back and teach Jose here at Vero Beach High School. And I'd also like to give a big shout out to my mom and to thank her for everything that she's done for me to get me to where I am today.
Hi, my name is Garrett Strigley. I plan on attending Daytona State College to continue my baseball career. And here at Vero, I've been blessed to be able to be a part of the baseball team for 3 years now on the varsity team. I've also been a co-founder of the Pickleball Club and a National Honor Society member, and super grateful for all the teachers here at Vero that have helped me grow to be who I am today.
Hi, my name is Simon Schwartz, and I'm a senior here at Vero Beach High School. In the future, I plan to attend Georgia Tech in the fall for the major of aerospace engineering. At Vero, I've had the amazing opportunity to be involved in a lot of different clubs. I'm the founder and president of the Vero Beach High School Chess Club. I'm an officer on our student government and our Model United Nations clubs. I'm involved in different volunteer organizations at the school, including the Key Club. Around Vero, I've had the amazing opportunity to work with a group called Youth for Christ with their Campus Life program, where they take groups to different schools and minister the Word of God to them. In the future, I hope to again attend Georgia Tech for aerospace engineering and pursue a master's after that and go work in rocket science and aerospace engineering to create the systems that will push our world into the future, into space and our technology further. Thank you.
My name is Webb. I'm a senior at Vero Beach High School. I'm planning on attending the University of Florida Honors Program as a Lombardi Scholar. I'm passionate about marine science. I'm a student intern at the Ocean Research and Conservation Association, leading the HPLC team in the ecotoxicity branch. I'm also a second-degree black belt in both karate and jiu-jitsu, and serve as a certified United States Karate and Jiu-Jitsu Association certified instructor. I'm a member of the Vero Beach High School Marching Band, as well as an independent percussion society called Infinity 3 Percussion. And I would like to thank my teachers, Mr. Jeff Bush, and my mom for helping me with my support as I plan to pursue my PhD in marine science.
I think now you understand what I mean by the list of accomplishments and the fact that they have such good grades. It's an enormous accomplishment. So students, go ahead and have a seat. The pen should be ready to sign. I'm going to ask Dr. Moore to say a few words, and then he will give you the instructions next.
Absolutely outstanding. And this is, I like all board meetings, Brian.
But this one is very special, and it is a reflection of community and what makes our high schools and our community so special. Different walks of life, different programming, different unique experiences that truly capture what greatness truly is. So what you're signing here is your commitment to the next experience, and I hope as you sign, you all realize you're just not doing great things in the classroom. You serve as a motivation for all that stand behind you and all that had the opportunity to teach you, and all of us that are here today. So congratulations. So on the count of 3, sign your commitment letter. 1, 2, 3.
So thank you guys very much. Go ahead and grab your certificate. You can stand, and then we'll give you guys one more round of applause as you come off stage, and then our staff will greet you in the lobby to take care of the certificate for you. So thank you guys. One more round of applause for the Vero Beach High School Academic All-Stars. Go Ramblin' Wreck. My sister went there. Good to see you again. Thank you, sir. All right, next up we have Sebastian River High School.
Hi, my name is Jay Green. I'll be attending Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. At school, I play basketball, and outside of school, I was a part of Trio Upward Bound with Miss Jody Adelet and Purpose Driven Youth with Miss Constant Peterson. For the future, I hope to become an orthodontist. At FAMU, I'll be studying pre-dentistry on biology, for my major in biology, and that's it. I would like to thank my mom and my dad for all they do for me, and God, most importantly. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalie Gomez, and I'm going to be attending Eastern Florida State College to finish my AA and then transfer to UCF to become a OBGYN. I am a part of the cheerleading competition and football team at the high school, and I want to thank my mom and my dad for supporting me and knowing that I can do everything that I can do.
Hi, my name is Jana Antonazi. I plan to attend the University of Miami to study exercise physiology in hopes to become a professional athletic trainer. Some of the things I've been involved in at the school are the varsity cheerleading team and National Honor Society. And some of the people I would like to thank are my parents for everything they have done, and overall the people that have supported me throughout my time.
Hi, my name's Caitlin Peters, and I will be attending the University of South Florida in the fall through the Honors College and majoring in biomedical science with an ultimate goal of pursuing a doctorate in physical therapy with a possible interest in neurology or psychology. At the school, I am the treasurer of the National Honor Society Interact and Excel. I would like to thank my parents, my teachers, and my counselor for all their support throughout my high school years.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Mayo. I'll be attending Eleanor State College for the first 2 years and then transferring to a university to pursue a career in education, hopefully becoming a college professor. At the high school, I'm involved in the ESE department where I've worked as an assistant for the last 2 years. And I want to thank my mom and dad and all my teachers for their support. Thank you.
So students, you go ahead and have a seat. You should have a pen there with your certificate. Now this is a little awkward for the audience, but for you guys, while you were in there, I was bragging on the fact that even though you guys were talking about all your accomplishments, you were very humble because you only mentioned about 25% of them. We talked about your GPAs and all the other accomplishments you didn't mention. So congratulations. Dr. Moore's going to share a few words to congratulate you, and then he'll give you instructions for the next step.
Once again, I don't know if you heard me in there, but I'm going to say it again. Congratulations, you all are an inspiration for us. It is a reflection of the comprehensive education that we provide. So many of you, we just saw last week getting scholarship money. Some of you went up there a number of times. I was sore just watching Mr. Green go up and get all of this extra money that our community was. How much money did you get? Oh, he can't even. He ain't done yet. But it was really exciting to see. Congratulations to all of you. You're an inspiration to all of us. So on the count of 3, sign your scholarship and letters of commitment. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Congratulations. He mentioned scholarship. There's no financial scholarship. Sorry. So congratulations. If you'll rise, grab your certificate, and then family and friends, if you'll walk out to where Ms. Baser is, we'll get you that certificate put onto the plaque. And as you leave, audience, if we'll give them one more round of applause, just as a congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Way to go. And that concludes presentations, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. At this time, we're going to stop, finalize this meeting, and then in about 3 minutes, we will have an invocation. Those of you that wish to stay in the room for that can. If you'd like to leave, you can come back for the business meeting. Thank you. Business meeting at the Joanne Idolette Jr. TEC. Today is Monday, April 28th, 2025, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. The time is 6:01. I ask that out of respect for everyone, please silence all electronic devices at this time. Also, if you have any material you wish to share with a board member, please give that to our executive assistant, Mrs. Moray. She's seated right here. All right, at this time, I'd like to present the Sebastian River High School Navy Junior ROTC under the direction of Commander Peter Bissonette, United States Navy, retired, and Senior Chief John Silva, United States Navy, retired, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Colors. Ready. Go. Hold. Colors. March. Post. Colors. And salute. Ready. 2. Post. Colors. March. Forward. March. Colors. Hold.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. All right, board members, are there any items board members wish to move from consent to action or add to discussion?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Rosario?
Consent item E, approval of board member for the Indian River Education Fund. And consent item, they're both E. It's 5E, let me be clear. Consent item 5E, that was the first one. And then consent item 6E. 6E is the approval of the 25-28 School District of Indian River County English Language Learners Plan.
Okay, anyone else? Anything added to discussion? Okay, we're good, thank you. So I'm going to call for a motion to accept the adoption of the orders of the day as amended.
So moved.
Okay, Dr. Posca?
A second.
Okay, Mr. Dyer? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do we have the other board member on?
Yes.
She is on? Okay. Did she vote? I'm just curious. Yeah, okay. That passes 5-0. Thank you. All right, at this time, we have the superintendent's report. I'd like to recognize Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The items A, B, and C will be presented by Ms. Maddox.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here with us tonight. We have a couple of very important proclamations and presentations to start our meeting out with, and we would like to start with our Autism Acceptance Month proclamation. Tonight, we're proud to recognize April as Autism Acceptance Month in the School District of Indian River County. Autism Acceptance Month is a time to celebrate the unique talents, strengths, and contributions of individuals with autism. It also encourages greater understanding, support, and appreciation throughout our schools and community. On April 2nd, you might have noticed on social media that our school district wore blue for Autism Acceptance Day. At this time, we would like to invite Jill Robb, Program Specialist, and Pete Matson, ESE teacher at Wabasso School, to the podium to read the official Autism Acceptance Month proclamation.
Good evening. Proclamation designating April 2025 as Autism Acceptance Month, School District of Indian River County.
Whereas April is recognized nationally as Autism Acceptance Month, a time to raise awareness and promote greater understanding of autism spectrum disorder, and
whereas autism affects individuals differently and to varying degrees, and people with autism bring valuable perspectives, talents, and strengths to our schools and communities, and
whereas the School District of Indian River County is committed to fostering an educational environment where all students are supported, respected, and empowered to achieve their full potential, and
whereas through ongoing education, collaboration, and compassion, we can build school communities that recognize the importance of patience, kindness, and meaningful connection, and
whereas it is essential to celebrate the achievements of individuals with autism and acknowledge the families, educators, and support staff who work diligently to help every student succeed.
Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the School Board of Indian River County does hereby recognize April 2025 as Autism Acceptance Month and encourages all schools and community members to take part in activities and conversations that promote understanding, acceptance, and support for individuals with autism.
Adopted this 28th day of April, 2025 by the School Board of Indian River County.
Thank you. Yes. All right. So we have a proclamation, board members. All those that accept the Autism Acceptance Month proclamation say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? It passes, I believe, 5-0. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for reading.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have our Month of the Military Child proclamation. Tonight, we're proud to recognize April as Month of the Military Child in the School District of Indian River County. Across our district, we're committed to honoring and supporting the students and families who serve alongside our nation's military. Military children face unique experiences, including frequent moves and changes in schools, and it's important that we recognize their strength, resilience, and contributions. We are also proud to highlight our 3 Purple Star schools, a special designation awarded to schools that demonstrate a major commitment to supporting military-connected students and their families. Our Purple Star schools are Sebastian Elementary School, led by Principal Letitia Whitfield Hart. Would you please stand? There she is. Sebastian River Middle School, led by Principal Rob Riskin. And Sebastian River High School, led by Principal Christopher Cummings. Together, these schools create a seamless, supportive pathway for military children as they grow, learn, and transition across grade levels. From elementary to middle to high school, these schools work closely with families to ensure military-connected students are welcomed, supported, and given every opportunity to succeed. Earlier this month, we also celebrated Purple Up Day across our district, a day where we wear purple to show support for military children. Many of us are wearing purple tonight to honor them. Purple represents all branches of the military, symbolizing the combined strength and unity of our armed forces. At this time, we would like to invite our Purple Star School principals, Ms. Whitfield Hart, Mr. Riskin, and Mr. Cummings, to join us at the podium as we read the official Month of the Military Child Proclamation.
Whereas the School Board of Indian River County recognizes the sacrifices and contributions made by military children who support their parents' service to our nation, and whereas military children face unique challenges, including frequent moves, family separations, and adapting to new schools and communities, demonstrating resilience, strength, and patriotism beyond their years, and
whereas the month of the military child is a time to honor and celebrate the resilience and sacrifices of military children and to raise awareness of the challenges they face and the support they need. And whereas the school district of Indian River County is committed to providing a nurturing and supportive environment where military children can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally, and where their unique needs are recognized, valued, and addressed.
Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the School Board of the Indian River County, Florida, hereby recognizes the month of April as the month of the military child. We honor the bravery, strength, and sacrifices of military children and expressed our deepest gratitude for their service to our nation. Adopted this 28th day of April 2025, School Board of Indian River County, Florida.
We're just going to change that date to today's date for the 28th when we call it into our vote. Board members, could I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, so we have a motion for the month of the military child proclamation. All those that say aye?
Aye. You need a second.
And a second, thank you.
Second.
Those that say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, didn't think so. Thank you so much.
We're actually going to take a photo at the end after we recognize our special students who are here with us tonight. As part of our recognition of the Month of the Military Child, we're proud to highlight the experiences of our military families at our Purple Star schools. Tonight, we are excited to share a special video spotlight featuring stories from our military-connected students and families, a glimpse into the strength, resilience, and spirit they bring to our schools each and every day.
I'm Eric Castillo. I served in the Army and I retired from the service after 21 years as a Master Sergeant. I joined the Army in 2002. What drove me to the Army was the 9/11 attacks. I was part of a delayed entry program. They couldn't accept me right away because there were a lot of applicants. So I did not actually get to join until October of 2002. I went to a lot of places: Korea, Japan, Jordan, Kuwait, Egypt, and I think throughout my time, my favorite had to have been Okinawa. The thing I'm most proud of during my time in the service is being a leader. My job as a non-commissioned officer was to teach, coach, and mentor all the junior soldiers. And as I, came up the ranks, I made sure to teach those behind me. So as I progressed, I was bringing somebody else to replace me as I move forward. Balancing being a parent in the military is hard. What makes it easier is the use of technology, such as FaceTime, the video calls, while we're away. Still being able to see our family definitely makes a difference. They've been very supportive, considering, I've done 21 years, and 11 of those have been with my wife, and her being a very supportive wife
being back home, managing everything even while I'm gone. It is a tough job for her to do on her own when I'm away, and I am very thankful that she's been able to do that. My daughter has only attended military schools, so every child in the school is a military child because all the parents are either in the military or the father or the mother, one of the parents is in the military, so it's all she's ever known. So to come to a school to where there's only a few children that are part of the military, it's been very nice for her to be welcomed into the school because they are the Purple Star. My daughter Audrey, she loves the extracurricular activities. She started in cheer, and this year she is supporting the drum line, and because of those, she really enjoys coming to school.
My name is Audrey Castillo. I am in 5th grade and I go to Sebastian Elementary. I really like being drumline at Sebastian Elementary. My favorite thing about Sebastian Elementary is my friends. I love my dad. I'm really proud that my dad was in the military.
Could we please have Audrey and her family come up to the front?
My name is Landon Welsh. I'm in 8th grade here at Sebastian River Middle School. My mom, Tiffany Welsh, she's an officer in the Army. She's in the reserves, but currently she's active duty. She comes back over the summer for about a month, and then she'll be away again. Prior to enlisting, she was a school resource deputy at Vero Beach High School. She always wanted to go into the military. She just never really did until my stepfather kind of encouraged her to do it. She did. She went into basic training, and when she's back, she's still a deputy. She's just not a school resource officer anymore. I'm very proud of her for doing that. You know, it's always been her dream, and now she's actually doing it. I'm very happy that she is. We would like her back, but we're still very proud of her. It's kind of a whole family thing. A lot of people in our family have gone into the military. Sebastian River Middle School, you know, being a Purple Star school, it's very, very cool, very amazing that they do that. A few of my favorite things about this school are, you know, one, I have all my friends here, and then all the teachers, they're amazing. Every class supports the students' academic level. For the future, next year, I'll be going to Sebastian River High School. After high school, I'll finish up my college to get my college degrees, and then I'll be going into the Air Force to hopefully become a pilot. If I could say something to my mom right now, I'd probably say, I'm proud of you. You'll get through it. It'll be over quicker than you know it. You know, we're all rooting for you.
Could we please have Landon and family come to the front?
Yes.
Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Thank you very much.
My name is Charlie McIntosh. I retired U.S. Army Staff Sergeant. I joined in '88 out of high school. Graduated '87 from Vero Beach High School. Joined the Marine Corps in January of '88. Did 4 years, and while I was in the Marine Corps, I participated in Desert Storm. After leaving the Marine Corps as a corporal, I had a 12-year break-in service. But then I got an opportunity to enlist back into the military. Started off in the reserve, trying to go back so I can finish my degree. And my reserve unit got activated, so I didn't want to go to Iraq with a reserve unit. So I made a phone call, called my wife, and asked her, was it okay for me to go into the military? And she was like, babe, whatever you want to do, I'm with you. Went back in the military as a medical logistics specialist, and then I retired 16 years later. I actually joined the military trying to be like my father. My father served in Vietnam, and my uncle, he also served in Vietnam. And my dad won the Silver Star, but it was presented years later. And that what made me join the military. Plus, I wanted to see the world. But as a parent, the hard part was being away from my family, being away from my wife, being away from the kids, trying to call when we could. Sometimes we couldn't, so it was weeks, sometimes months that I couldn't speak to them or talk to them. My family has been awesome. My wife, she's the backbone of the family. She's like amazing. She's amazing. The kids, when I came home, they always supported me. My favorite thing about Sebastian is the family atmosphere. I know some of the teachers, know the principal. They're very supportive. You know, coming here, nice, clean school, good school.
My name's Tariq McIntosh. I'm in 12th grade and I go to Sebastian River High School. One thing special about my parents serving in the military, you get to experience different places, you get to see different things. It was hard sometimes when my parent was away, but I had my mom and I had a whole bunch of siblings, like my brothers and my sister, so it was it wasn't as bad, but sometimes you will miss them, so y'all would call and stuff. My favorite thing about Sebastian High School is, like my dad said, he grew up with teachers and stuff here, so when something goes wrong or if I need to talk to somebody, I can just go to a teacher that I know or my dad grew up with, so that's a good thing I like about Sebastian High School. The thing I'm proud of is how we had a good life and we got to move and experience different things, and we got to see things that some other kids probably wouldn't get to see in a million years.
Tariq and family, would you please come to the front?
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
All right, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Thank you very much, and I'm going to ask you to stay there so we can do a group photo with everyone. So if I could have our other 2 military families come up with our principals, if you would please join us.
And the next item is the superintendent's report, so if you could pull that beautiful presentation up. The month of March and April are very, very active months. I was honored by a number of different organizations to receive, or cities and municipalities, to receive proclamations for being a national finalist and state finalist for Superintendent of the Year. Just a very, very exciting opportunity to be acknowledged and establish our partnerships. We did on March 13th have our strategic plan town hall meeting, and as you can see, the meeting was extremely well attended, absolutely outstanding attendance, the entire strategic plan process as we prepare to create our next 5-year plan of action really is reflective of a community-wide approach on making sure we're designing a school system to bring our students forward and be able to compete not only across the state, but nationally. I had the opportunity on March 14th, which honestly feels like a month ago. Well, like months and months ago. It was a month ago, a lot of months ago. Coffee with the mayor. Once again, they had a little toast for me for being National Superintendent finalist. That was absolutely outstanding. Our Leadership Institute, which is being facilitated by our fund board, absolutely an amazing initiative. Our fund board is focusing in on leadership and innovation. And this is a joint effort where we're taking some of the largest employers across our county, investing in our leaders. So not only the school system leaders are participating, but also Piper Aviation, Marine Bank is participating, Northern Trust leadership is participating, really making it very significant in the next level of leaders in our county. And this is the session that we held here. Mr. Dyer presented in a previous session. The CEO of Piper presented. The CEOs of both Marine and Northern Trust presented. It really is a coming together of making sure we're creating world-class leaders to ensure that we have world-class schools. Fellsmere Elementary Night of Enchantment, if you have not been to that, please put it on your calendar next year. It is the elementary version of PRISM. It is absolutely outstanding. We're getting into scholarships, so here we go. This is Vero Beach Senior High School's scholarship event, a truly powerful night. I'm going to talk about that more in a second. This is the Sebastian Elementary School for the Arts Model School Recognition, identified as a model school. This is national recognition. They're going to have the opportunity to present at a national conference the work that they're doing and setting themselves apart as a performing arts school. This is the Taxpayer Association presentation. Once again, great relationship with our Taxpayer Association and making sure we're open, we're honest, transparent, and receiving feedback as being good stewards of the dollars, the limited dollars that we are provided. April 5th was the STEAM Quest at Dodgertown Elementary School. April 5th is going to be a very busy day. Then we head over to cruising into kindergarten, which is the recruitment and kind of easing the stress for our incoming kindergartners. There's more cruising into K. It was an absolute carnival going on here. Then on April 6th, this is a Sunday, we head over to Youth Kindness Celebration at Vero Beach. Be Kind. Absolutely another wonderful event. Then Assistant Principal Week, just celebrating our future principals, was a fun week. And then the All-County Music Festival, which is on April 8th. This is a very unique experience. We're pulling together some of our county's most talented musicians and allowing them the opportunity to entertain us. Superintendent's Advisory Council. We're going to have our Superintendent Advisory Council back here next month. We participated in what we call our student swap, where we had some of my council members from Vero Beach attend Sebastian, and Sebastian then attend Vero. Then we had the opportunity really to debrief and identify where are the opportunities for us to steal from each other the great practices and just the kinds of conversations these students were having, the dialogue on how to, represent the pride they have in their school, but also what we can do collectively to provide a better experiences for our future students. These kids are truly all leaders and doing absolutely great things. Then we went to the Academic Excellence Award on April 10th at Sebastian, and that was the first time in 20 years I said the wrong school name, so I'll never do that again. The JROTC award ceremony, which was the following night, April 11th. And then if you have not been to the Billy Wilson track meet at Sebastian River Senior High School, this, once again, is a true testament to what community is here. Every single elementary school was there. Our elementary 4th and 5th graders were there, prepared as if they were running in the Olympics. It was, every school was cheering from the audience. The parents were here. Just a great reminder of the community that we have here. That same day, went to Jackie Robinson Training Complex for Jackie Robinson Day, where it was our varsity, Vero Beach varsity and JV baseball team putting on a workshop for future baseball players and at the high school level, just kind of, once again, a sense of community, our older students training and mentoring our younger students. This was a youth guidance drone competition. This was absolutely outstanding. You can't really tell from the pictures, but this is the kind of drone competition that you would see on ESPN, where they're flying through the hoops and they gotta do it. It's just really, really something we need to expand on. Vero Beach Museum of Art's Children Festival, where I had our students' artwork on display. Once again, that was April 12th, another busy day. This Vero competition was April 12th as well. Also at Sebastian, student programming and using that technology. Once again, another outstanding opportunity. And then month of this basically Purple Up Day, April 15th, also tax day. Elementary Battle of the Books wasn't able to go this year, but once again, just another outstanding opportunity for our students to problem solve, work as teams, and I think it was Pelican Island that took it home, correct? All right, way to go Pelican. And the IRC Community Service panelists, Ms. Brasura and Ms. Flood, had the opportunity to represent our school system in conversations around our earliest learners, our pre-K programming, and I heard they did absolutely outstanding. This is the swap at Sebastian Senior High School. Wabasso, this is a yearly event where we go out and hang out with the students at Wabasso, and they have a field day. It's just a fun day to hang out and participate with the students at Wabasso. And then here we go again, scholarship night, significant dollars given away by our community to our seniors at our future, soon-to-be graduates at Vero Beach Senior High School. And then we had our rewards for the Gifford Middle School, which won the Spring Break Challenge April 23rd. They took prior to spring break, and that was just to shower them with a bunch of food at lunchtime, celebrating the contributions our teachers are making with our students. Significant progress going on at Gifford Middle School. This is an opportunity I had to speak to the Crossover Mission Board. They were having a board retreat, partnering with them, allowing them a deeper understanding of what we're doing and looking for opportunities to partner to strengthen that work. In the Sebastian River High School IB pinning ceremony, there was a backflip that went on the stage there, which made me a little nervous, but it went off without a hitch. And last Friday was the Inclusion Dance Show, which is another opportunity that just highlights why Indian River County is so special. And that is the presentation, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I have two comments about your presentation. It's nice that we're continuing the military celebration. We appreciate that, and thank you for everyone for coming tonight and for your service. We appreciate it. I know all board members do. We appreciate that. Second, I know I asked, I don't think, is Chris Cummings still here? I asked for the total amount of scholarship money. I know Vero Beach High School, it was $650,000 given to students. Sebastian River, I'm not sure how much they got, but those are the kind of dollars that our community is donating to kids. And so we really appreciate all those dollars going to kids to further their education. So thank you for that. All right, at this time we're going to have public input. So these are the procedures for public input according to School Board Policy 0169.1. During regular business meetings of the board offers the following two opportunities for the public to provide input. One, on an agenda item, consent agenda or action agenda item, prior to the board taking official action on that proposition. And two, during the public input section for items not on the agenda. For those who are watching, please understand that though we have established proper decorum and expectations of professionalism when it comes to individuals who wish to provide public input, this is a live broadcast. So understand that, watch carefully. Each individual speaker shall be allotted up to 3 minutes during public input and up to 3 minutes to an item in the consent agenda and/or action agenda as indicated on the order of business as it exists at the time the meeting starts. The time period may be adjusted by the presiding officer. Individuals may only speak once about any given item. Individuals who have filled out the speaker's form are allowed to address the board. Individuals may not delegate their allotted time to speak to other individuals. If an item is moved from either the consent agenda or discussion agenda to the action agenda, individuals will have the opportunity to speak to that item prior to the vote of the board. During the meeting, please refrain from clapping or outbursts of any sort so that we can proceed with dignity and with decorum by not infringing on anyone's First Amendment rights. And this is a limited public forum setting. As board members listen to individuals without interruption, individuals are asked to give board members the same respect. Board members may or may not address any individual statements at the end of the public input comments. I will be recognizing and calling up individuals 2 at a time in the order in which the speaker forms were received. The first individual will be called to the podium to speak, and the second individual will be in the line to speak. The public information officer will be the official timekeeper, and the time will start when the speaker is at the podium. As you see, the time clock is visible to your left on the dais. You will hear a beep at the end of your 3 minutes. If you have anything to give to board members or the superintendent, please do this through our executive assistant, Mrs. Moray. She's seated at the end of that table. All right, so we have several speakers tonight. Our first speaker is Susan Meal. Second speaker is Anthony Stewart.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today. I'm going to suggest something that I doubt anyone else here would suggest or will suggest. I think it's time that we think out of our little county box and into the big box. With this administration in Washington, the big box, and the new era of common sense, I suggest we look at the desegregation order and work group with that in mind, common sense. It is absurd that our county school district and any others across the country are still under federal orders. If anyone can prove without a doubt that a district is still segregated or treating blacks and minorities unfairly, let them show it or forever hold their peace. It is absurd that our county taxpayers have to fund the legal, administrative fees and time to try and placate a group of people who keep moving the goalposts and have for over 50 years. Those millions can be spent on improving education for all students, regardless of color, and improving pay for teachers, bus drivers, kitchen staff, and everyone else. This is how you set children on the right path to success. So what I suggest is you don't appoint another board member. That's right. You don't appoint another board member to this charade. In fact, to suggest a different board member will make a difference in the process only proves the phony gamemanship that continues to go on. Instead, you pull everyone out of these farcical meetings and you direct our attorney to notify the federal district judge overseeing this mess, and more importantly, the new Assistant Secretary of the DOJ Civil Rights Division, that you have accomplished unitary status, and you are done. What can they do? Arrest you? Slap you with an injunction or something? Whatever they do, let them, and let the people across this state and nation know why. Then you file a petition with the Department of Justice representing the students and employees of this district, with taxpayers joining as additional petitioners. And you spell out this travesty and demand they lift the orders for all districts across the country. Enough is enough, and it's time to stop this ridiculous exercise, stop playing games, and direct all of your attentions to educating our kids, all of them. That's common sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony Stewart is next. Melissa Kells-Burdick is on deck.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I've resided in Indian River County for 75 years, and it has afforded me the opportunity to witness the greatest miscarriage of justice that I have ever experienced or witnessed. Between the Indian River County School Board and the NAACP as being the defendant. The initial filing of Brown versus the Board of Education was filed February 28, 1951 in Topeka, Kansas. On May 17, 1954, it was passed, which declared that state-sponsored segregation in public schools was unconstitutional. 3 years it took to pass Brown versus the Board of Education. 3 years. Thurgood Marshall was the attorney. First black attorney out of Baltimore, Maryland, who became the first black to be seated on the Supreme Court. On November 23, 1964, Earl M. Johnson, attorney from Jacksonville, Florida, was employed by Joe Adelet, whom this building is named after, and Raymond Sharpton, who was my agricultural teacher in high school, to file a petition ordering the county to integrate public schools, which I see was probably a mistake because they used the word integrate instead of desegregate. In order to integrate, a person's heart has to be changed. And it's quite obvious if we battle this battle for 60 years, not 50, 60, started in 1954 with Brown versus the Board of Education, that the hearts of the people have not been changed. And we have not desegregated simply because you're still under federal court order that says you have not been desegregated. We've come up with terms like unitary status to take the place of doing what we was ordered by the federal court to do. In the meantime, there are 67 counties in Florida that has been, in 34 of those counties, didn't even have to go through this. And the majority of them are not under this desegregation order, but yet we are, and we are a school district. Amazing. On May 26, 1994, the revised order approving plan was adopted by federal court Judge Clyde Acton. A lack of activity from 2003 all the way to 2016, with unsuccessful litigation, would travel on and off until 2018 till the board hired Hush Blackwell, an attorney, for $750,000.
Sir, you got to address the board.
$750,000. The board paid Hush Blackwell to come up with a plan to where you won't have to do what the court had ordered you to do. And so they also, with due aggressivity, you paid $26,000 a month.
Thank you. Melissa Kells-Burdick is next. Susan Baldwin is on deck.
Good evening. We have to stand up and fight for children in the public school system, Doc Jones declares in the Vero News March 20th issue. Choice is fine, but not at the expense of public school system, said Ms. Berenberg, who apparently wants district officials to be shouting from the rooftops the difference between public schools and local private schools. Might I suggest that yelling and the fighting gloves are not what is best for the student, nor the family, but all this cackling from our school board members expresses what is best for the system. You both said it in your own words, and therein lies the rub. It's the funding of the system, not the student. So the slandering of private, religious, and homeschool has begun. So much so that the headmaster of the local elite private school sent out a memo to the parents letting them know that their accountability is legit and accreditation is of a different nature than the public school, as if anybody at that school was in doubt, but I digress. A refresher course in public money. It's taxpayer money, parents and citizens of the community. Further, this begs the question, are private schools and religious schools and homeschoolers doing more with less and producing better lifelong learners? Your role in the system should not supersede that of the parent's role in the educational choice for their child, nor in the distribution of their paychecks. The irony is that the very education model that built in systemic racism, redefined it as CRT and DEI, and now squawks that the funding is gone, will not entertain the notion that a better school model may exist for some students. But you won't let those students go because their exiting is a threat to the system. Meanwhile, what's best for the student is that their butt is in a seat in a public school classroom on day 10 of the academic year to ensure funding of the system. Did you know that Orange County Public Schools in Florida has approved a plan to pay a private vendor nearly $1,000 per student to encourage families to re-enroll in traditional public schools? So, I ask, how much is enough? How much does the system need? When is enough enough? Enough to satisfy the underfunded public school, and is that an admission that you previously had enough? No hate, Dr. Moore, but why approve a big raise if the district knew it was looking at a shortfall? Again, an example of funding the system and not the student. Public education is dying. Unions are dying. The teaching profession will further be diminished by AI technology and personalized learning options. Parental choice is a national movement. The rooftop rally cry is the primal scream of a dying system. Fund the students, and parental choice will thrive in all educational arenas. Thank you.
Susan Baldwin is next. Susan Stoller is on deck.
Good evening. I am asking that if this work group continues, that Jackie Rosario be reappointed to the work group. Jackie's been a dedicated and effective voice for our community and for parents and for all SDIRC students, and I strongly believe she should be reappointed to continue this essential work. As a member of the group, Jackie has advocated for meetings to take place monthly, as they are supposed to, for transparency and for mediation, so that we can move forward to closure on this situation and achieve unitary status. I've sat through a number of school board meetings where this segregation order comes up, and it just seems like the same discussion over and over again. Honestly, based on what I see when I drive by a school at dismissal time, when the students are walking home, I think it's safe to say that our schools are not segregated. And we need to stop spending all this time and money on the same thing over and over again. I just can't help but think of all the great things that could be accomplished with these funds if they were directed instead to student excellence and to the benefit of the community. Thank you.
Susan Stoller is next. Kenneth Simon, I hope I said that right, is on deck.
Good evening. My name is Susie Stoller, and I am a proud advocate for public education. Last week in reading 32963, I became aware of the Vero Classical School. How confusing, I thought. Vero Classical, Pelican Island Classical, both in Vero, one Christian, one public. Continuing to read on this week and do a bit more research, I am convinced that confusion exists only in the name. Both will give a liberal arts education, but the approach will be quite different. If I seek a school steeped in Christianity, subjects taught through the eyes of the Christian Bible, a school dedicated to teaching Christian values, and a lifetime of service to God, then Vero Classical is the school for my children. If, for my children, I seek a solid education in the classical style, credentialed and certified teachers held to high standards, curriculum aligned with state standards in every subject, accountability for student learning, availability of student services, free costs to families, broad extracurricular activities, an inclusive setting with religious teachings left to the family and the church, a place where children learn to think critically and independently, become thoughtful decision makers, growing and maturing into contributing members of society, then hands down, Pelican Island Classical is the choice for my children. Pelican Island Classical School, housed on an appropriate site, is small enough to be a community, yet large enough to offer more than a single class on a grade. Not dedicated to Christian model, the school will take the best of the classical model and combine it with the respected best practices to build a mastery of fundamentals and a love of learning, a true public school quality education. Pelican Island Classical will not preach Christian values, but will teach, model, and support human values. Perhaps I'm in error, but from my readings and comments at many board meetings, it seems that Moms for Liberty seeks to make changes and instill Christian values into our public schools. To me, it makes more sense for Moms for Liberty to focus their energy on making classical Christian schools their ideal schools, the place they may choose to send their children. Let's leave Indian River County Public Schools with input from those seeking to strengthen public education and leave it in the hands of our very capable professionals. I commend the Indian River County School District for being innovators, putting children and quality public education first, for providing choice so that in this district, public education provides options for every learner and for every learning style. Thank you.
Kenneth Simon's next. Dr. Margie Flanagan is on deck.
Being tall has its disadvantages. For a couple of years before COVID struck, I walked around the large parking lot at the corner of 33rd and MLK on Fridays afternoons. With me were a couple of white people, a couple blacks, and an Oriental, all from different churches. We came to share the gospel, to teach from the Bible at that hot corner of Gifford. Black folks gathered to play cards or just sit around under the shade trees in and around the parking lot. We would hand out bottles of cold water and have large tote bags filled with snacks. Where a few folks were gathered in a cluster, we would ask if we could share from the Bible the good news of the Son of God and the lessons about this life that he came to teach us regarding sin, righteousness, and judgment. I've gone there alone and spoken in late afternoons, close to evening, and never, except for one occasion, did I see prejudice against me for being white. I participated in a Martin Luther King celebration day and made small posters with famous quotations of his written on them for some to hold in the parade. Just before COVID struck, there was an MLK banquet at GYAC. A couple friends active with me in the street ministry invited me and paid for me to attend. We were the only white people among 100 or more black people. Our table was up close to the speaker's platform. The speaker was a man from this area who did well in school and eventually became a lawyer of high rank in the NAACP headquartered in Atlanta. His talk focused on a half-dozen incidents around the country where white police ganged up on a black person and abused their authority, like we saw what happened to Rodney King and George Floyd. All the incidents were of white police and a black man victimized by police using extreme police brutality as they were arresting the man. I don't remember what parting words he finished his speech with, but he received a standing ovation, it seemed, by everyone in the room except me. The speaker's friend who had introduced him took the mic and said, "Come on, stand up and give an applause," which cowardly I did. However, my thoughts were that this talk did not honor Martin Luther King. It seemed more to me like it was inciting black people to have prejudice for white people. And now I would say this NAACP is not the NAACP of Thurgood Marshall or Martin Luther King. We've had one incident I know of in Indian River County where police used more violence than necessary on black people. But the public school system in academics and sports has been outstanding in showing fairness to all races and exemplary. Jackie Rosario will help maintain such a society. I'm not sure that the NAACP has that in mind.
Thank you. Dr. Margie Flanagan is next. Marilyn LaVecchia is on deck.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Margie Flanagan, Chair of Education Champions, Advocates for Public Education. Last weekend, several of our members were privileged to attend a college scholarship luncheon where 6 amazing young women were recognized for their stellar academic and extracurricular accomplishments. Tonight, Education Champions members will share a glimpse of their achievements to honor them and to applaud the public education system that provided the opportunity for their success. Students' names are omitted because we were unable to contact them in time to request their permission to do so. But I'm sure you'll agree when you hear their bios that these young women are deserving of our admiration. While the recipients all attend Vero Beach High School, their backgrounds, career interests, and academic plans are as diverse as their economic and cultural backgrounds. We know their stories, while unique, are mirrored throughout all of our district high schools. We believe that these young people's accomplishments reflect the strengths of public education. From pre-K to high school graduation, public education provides a well-rounded curriculum and instruction based on best practices, accredited and credentialed teachers, service providers, and administrators, diversity that offers essential real-world experiences, a plethora of extracurricular activities, services to ensure student success, accountability, and most importantly, results. We know these young women are a small sample of the many district students who will graduate in May, well prepared for higher education, the workforce, and the military. We applaud all our graduates and wish them the best as they venture to their next life step. We know that contributing to their success is strong family support, effective community partnerships, and the students' hard work, determination, and perseverance. In closing, we strongly believe public education is a valuable investment deserving our support and more resources. As Nelson Mandela stated, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. We have no doubt that these young women are on their way to positively impacting their communities. Thank you.
Okay, Marilyn LaVecchia is next. Heather Askin is on deck.
Good evening. I'm Marilyn LaVecchia, a member of Education Champions, Advocates for Public Education. The Vero Beach High School student I'm going to tell you about is truly amazing. She is a member of the Student Government Association throughout her high school years, having served as vice president during her freshman year and president during her sophomore year. She is also an active 4-year participant in Model UN, the Photography Club, and the school yearbook. Her volunteer activities include playing her music at retirement homes and local churches. She worked part-time at Indian River Estates and is currently a part-time marketing specialist at a local law firm. Of course, this is in addition to all of her school activities. She also serves as Vero Beach High School's concert master and has performed with the Indian River State College 4-County Honor Orchestra, is a featured soloist for the Vero Beach Chamber Orchestra, and was accepted into the Interlochen Summer Music Group. She received straight superiors at the District Music Performance Assessment for the past 3 years. She also began a mentorship program for orchestra students in our local middle schools and volunteers at all 3 of them. After performing both nationally and internationally, she plans to major in viola performance at the University of North Texas. Amazingly, this student placed first among 30,000 applicants, only 100 of which reached the interview stage and only 20 of whom were accepted into this program. Quite an accomplishment, and I, for one, am in awe. Thank you.
Heather Askin is next. Margreta Fossey is on deck.
Good evening. I'm Heather Askin. I'm a member of the Education Champions and advocate for public schools. While attending Vero Beach High School, this student was in dual enrollment at Indian River State College. With sights set on a medical career, she plans a double major in either nursing, human health, or neuroscience and Spanish. She served as Vero Beach High School's president of Health Occupation Students Club of America and has received biotechnician assistant certification. She is also a pathology intern at Cleveland Clinic Hospital. Additionally, she is an AP scholar with honors. Among her volunteer activities, she's worked with young children at her church summer camp, is a regular volunteer at Halo Pet Shelter, and is president of the school's Animal Rescue Club. She also volunteered at nursing homes through the HOSA program. I'm not sure how she manages all this because this student also has worked part-time throughout her high school career and is currently employed at a local restaurant, along with helping in the family food business. With a weighted GPA of 4.515 and described as a brilliant student by others of her advisors, one of her advisors, I'm sure this student will succeed as she enters Emory University in the fall, having received a full scholarship to Emory and continuing to medical school upon graduation. Thank you.
Okay, Margaretta Fossey is next. Joanne Dunlap is on deck.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me say a few words about another outstanding student. She is a Vero Beach High School scholarship recipient who is also enrolled at Indian River State College. She has developed a passion for government, policy, and civic engagement. She is poised to attend the University of Chicago as a political science major. She has served as president of the Student Government Association. Thank you. And she represents the student body and collaborates with school administration. She served as a 4-H Horse Masters Club treasurer and as a Florida Senate page, where she learned a great deal about the legislation and how a government works. Her weighted GPA is 4.523. Aside from government and the law, her interests include principal player in the school's Philharmonic Orchestra and the girls' weightlifting team. She has a strong commitment to our community and volunteers with the Vero Beach Museum of Art. Among her numerous honors is the Vero Beach High School Scholar Award and recognition from the AP College Board, highlighting her academic achievements and her contributions to her school community. And if that isn't enough, she also brought back the mock trial to Vero Beach High and has also worked as a marketing specialist for a law firm. In a letter of recommendation, one of this student's teachers wrote, "Hardworking, dedicated, focused, and mature are just a few of the words that first come to mind when describing this student." After briefly hearing about her accomplishments and hearing firsthand from the student, which was a real pleasure and an honor, I wholeheartedly agree.
Okay, Joanne Dunlap is next. Darlene Andrews is on deck.
Good evening, I'm Joanna Dunlap, a member of Education Champions, Advocates for Public Education. My only regret tonight is that you can't see the radiant, glowing faces of these young women, and it just helps to appreciate this amazing accomplishment that they've had at such a young age. This student's counselor describes her as a diligent scholar, selecting the most demanding curriculum possible at Vero Beach High School, participating in honors, advanced placement, and dual enrollment programs while maintaining a weighted GPA average of 4.687. She has been selected as an AP Scholar with distinction, selected for College Board Hispanic Recognition Program, and is an active member of the National Honor Society. Next month, she will be graduating with AP Honors, Industry Scholar, Biliteracy Seal, Fine Art Seal, and Florida State Scholar designations. She will also have completed the entire sequence of biotechnology career tech courses. She passed the biotechnician credentialing exam and achieved the status of certified biotechnician assistant. She is continuing with the Biotech 3 radiology internship with Cleveland Clinic and attended FSU's College of Medicine Summer Institute. She has been a member of the school's Color Guard, a member of the Superintendent's Supervisory Council, is Vice President and Volunteer Events Coordinator for Vero Beach High School Green Team, is a published artist for a local author, volunteered with Okra, and works part-time at a local food warehouse. Graduating 5th in her class, she will pursue her goal of becoming a pediatric neurologist at FSU in the fall.
Darlene Andrews is next. Margaret Murray is on deck.
Good evening. I'm Darlene Andrews, a member of Education Champions, Advocates for Public Education. This student plans to attend FSU in the fall, majoring in medical laboratory sciences with the goal of attending medical school. She is a member of the National Honor Society, National First Generation Scholar, and an AP Scholar with distinction. She passed the Florida Biotechnic Credential Exam and is a Biotech 3 teacher assistant. She is active in student government, Key Club, Indians Guiding Friends, Pure Tribe Tutors, Women in STEM, Dance Marathon, Green Team Environmental Club, and is a co-founder and vice president of the Vero Beach High Chapter of Science National Honor Society. Her volunteer activities include working with elementary school students, high school peer tutoring, beach cleanup, community art show events, sports events concessions, paramedic training, and field work with Indian River Land Trust. Among her numerous extracurricular activities is the FAU Junior Science Program, a competitive selection process where she conducted and presented research on the Indian River Lagoon, promoting conservation and restoration. For employment, she has worked in after-school care and summer camps with elementary school students, a summer internship with the County Clerk of Court's Historical Grant Project, and currently as hostess at a local restaurant. Her letters of recommendation all out her accomplishments and goals, and it is easy to see why she was honored with this scholarship. Thank you.
Hey, Margaret Murray is next. Jennifer Pippin is on deck.
Excuse me. I need it. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Margaret Murray, Vice Chair of Education Champions, Advocates for Public Education. My Vero Beach High School student is the daughter of a single mom of 4. She has balanced working 2 jobs for 27 hours a week with leadership roles in Trial Upward Bound, Science, National Honor Society, Precious Pearl Association, the teen group of Alpha Kappa Alpha Society, Vero Beach Basketball Girls Club, and the Youth Employability Program. She has also served as a teacher's assistant in biotechnology classes and is a member of STEAM Club. She also tutors peers in math and science. After assisting her ailing grandparents, she set her sights on a career in biomedical engineering, hoping to develop innovative medical devices available to all in the future. This student has taken 10 advanced placement classes, earning her recognition as a College Board AP Scholar, and has 47 college course credits and counting. In her sophomore year, she was inducted into the National Honor Society and is a National First Generation Award recipient and a National African American Award winner. I must also mention that she received a perfect score on the National AP Calculus exam, no small feat. Planning and attending FSU in the fall, she plans to get her master's and PhD in biomedical engineering. In closing this evening, I want to say that the 6 young women you just heard about are a representation of the many stellar graduates of Indian River County. You can see how advanced placement, dual enrollment, and career and technical education play an integral role in preparing students for their next steps. Thank you to the board, the superintendent and his staff, our dedicated teachers, and many support staff who encourage and inspire our students each and every day. We, the education champions, and I know the community, are very proud. Thank you.
Jennifer Pippin is next. Donald Baldwin is on deck.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Pippin, and I'm the proud chairman of Moms for Liberty here in Indian River County. First, I wanted to say thank you to the school resource officers and the Sebastian River High School staff for handling the incident in the beginning of April, where was told at first that it was an active shooter that turned into a student letting another student on campus that had paraphernalia and drugs and was arrested by the sheriff's office. So thank you to all of the law enforcement and the staff on that. I know you guys got an email from me about the communication to parents. I know you discussed that in your workshop earlier this month. That is very, very important, and there is a lot of parents that are upset about that, and they didn't find out about what happened until 2:06, which was after school let out. So I hope we do take the communication thing very seriously and do fix that in the future. I also wanted to thank Sebastian River High School staff for the female that was going into the male's bathroom and watching the males use the restroom. It was making them very uncomfortable. Thank you for handling that incident. Within less than 24 hours, it was rectified. So thank you to Sebastian River High School staff for that. Moms for Liberty supports the classical education model, which is not inherently religious. In fact, one of our endorsed school board members, Jacqueline Rosario, along with several members of our organization, initiated the conversation around classical education in the district. The statement made today by a citizen represented our position and was factually incorrect. In July of 2024, we donated a couple hundred library books to elementary school students that was actually donated to Moms for Liberty from a retired teacher that moved out of the district. We've also donated Glenn Beck's Chasing Embers to middle schools, and now Libby Justice to our elementary schools, and we're super proud that the district has done such a good job of getting all of the books that were inappropriate for children, and we're happy to replace them with good books for children. I have a question. I asked this a couple months ago and I never got an answer. I also have a public records request out on this. I wanted to know, do the high schools and middle schools still have the African American Student Council in the schools along with the regular student council? The reason why I ask this is because there's a lot of talk about the desegregation order, and to my knowledge, other than the discipline policy that's attached as well, that disciplines African American children different from other races. I just wanted to know if maybe I can get an answer. It's been a couple of months, if we still have the African American Student Council and not just the student councils in our district. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Donald Baldwin is next. Arlene Jamison is on deck.
First, excuse me. First, I'd like to give my support to Jackie Rosario for appointment to the lawsuit committee workshop. So, I grew up in Brevard County when we were under segregation, and during my time in school, we were integrated with the local schools. We had this Coach Dick Blake come in from Monroe High School into Cocoa High, and a number of students came over little by little, and they closed Monroe High School back in 1970. But I saw the process of the desegregation while I was there. Now, as a veteran, I have visited the schools, some of the schools here, and the schools are integrated. Now, they may not be perfect racial harmony, but they are integrated. And I just find it ridiculous that we have a court order going back 60 years ago on desegregation. Now, there are groups of people, there are conflicts throughout society. We have the Hatfields and the McCoys in this country. I went to see a doctor. I had a Brazilian t-shirt on. And she looked at me and asked me about the shirt. I said, well, it's Brazilian. She says, we don't like Brazilians. She's from Argentina. And in my travels, I've traveled around South America, and I've come across Peruvians and Ecuadorians. And they despise each other. The Ecuadorians called the Peruvians chickens. The Peruvians called the Ecuadorians monkeys. But there is a lot of conflict, and we have to realize that, and I think we need to put to rest this desegregation order. Thank you.
Okay, Arlene Jamison is next. Diane Parentella is on deck.
Good evening. Don't know my own story. Hold on.
We probably need a new mic in that. Or new mic stand, I think.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yes. Can you start my time over, please? I haven't talked.
You're good.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Arlene Jamison, and I'm a proud member of the Education Champions, Advocates for Public Education. In light of all the possible projected cuts to education, both nationally and statewide, as well as the possible elimination of advanced placement, dual enrollment, and the like, it was very gratifying to see Vero Beach High School highlighted in Sunday's paper, on the front page no less. They wrote about the students studying culinary schools and operating the Vero Bean Cafe, with proceeds going to a scholarship fund. And Henry Burson, a Vero Beach High School alumnus, works with students and is hoping to reopen the half-hour inn to be run by the kids. I believe we've sampled some of their delicious wares at receptions here, and they were very impressive. This is all wonderful training for the hospitality and restaurant businesses, actually any business. So once again, I am so proud of the Indian River County School District, Public School District, without being awarded $9,000 scholarships for homeschooling, private or parochial schools without accountability. Congratulations to all for once again being recognized for your excellence, and that starts with the board, Dr. Moore, staff, principals, teachers, and support people. Thank you.
Diane Parentella is next. Thomas Kenny is on deck.
Good evening, Diane Parentella. Today I'm here to celebrate and promote April as School Library Month, in addition to the Month of the Military Child and Autism Month, a time dedicated to recognizing the invaluable role that school libraries play in our education system. School libraries are more than just rooms filled with books. They are the heart of learning within our schools. They are vibrant hubs where curiosity thrives and imagination soar. Libraries provide our students with access to a wealth of knowledge and resources, encouraging a love for reading and learning that lasts a lifetime. In an ever-changing, ever-evolving digital age, school libraries have transformed to meet the needs of our students. They offer access to technology, foster digital literacy, and provide students with the critical thinking skills necessary to navigate the information age. Our librarians are not just custodians of books, they're educators, guides, and mentors who inspire students to explore and discover. 2 weeks ago, we had 103 elementary students participate in the Battle of Books. School libraries are essential in fostering fairness and diversity. They serve as a safe, inviting spaces where every student, irrespective of their background or abilities, can access resources that align with their experiences and interests. By providing a wide range of diverse collections and programs, libraries guarantee that all students can find reflections of themselves in the stories they explore and the materials they interact with. Research consistently shows that students who have access to well-resourced school libraries perform better academically. Libraries support classroom learning, provide essential research tools, and offer programs that enhance student achievement across all subjects. By investing in our school libraries, we are investing in the academic success of our students. 60% of our schools in Indian River County have increased their circulation stats compared with the same time last year, including Dodgertown Elementary School, who has doubled their circulation count this year. Finally, celebrating School Library Month is a reminder of the role libraries play in fostering lifelong learning. They teach our students the joy of discovery and the value of curiosity. By supporting our libraries, we equip students with the skills they need to become lifelong learners, ready to adapt and thrive in an ever-changing world. In conclusion, I urge you all to join me in celebrating School Library Month this April. Let us recognize and support the incredible impact that our school libraries have on our students' education and well-being. Together, we can ensure that our libraries continue to be dynamic centers of learning and growth for all students. And please, next time you visit a school campus, stop in and see the wonderful things going on in our school libraries. But if you come to Osceola this week, bring your wallet. We're having a book fair.
Okay. Thomas Kenny is next. Kevin McDonald's on deck.
I hope I didn't give that away, Bruce. Hi, y'all. How you doing? I'm Thomas Kenny, Moms for Liberty. I'm just here on a different thing. I was looking at something, doing some research, and so I sent a public records request. Someone had sent me an item about a forecast on some budget items for capital projects here at a school district from like 25 to 29. So I was like, well, hi. What I'll do is I'll get 20 to 24, run the comparison. And I got a bill back for $3,084.43 because apparently the detail I asked for went to the accountants and they think differently. That's probably my fault, you know. I didn't know what I was asking for, so I just sort of asked for everything. And I'm not, you know, the bill I don't really care about. I'll figure out how to ask the second time. And the reason I bring that up is because I ended up meeting with Bruce Green, and Kim Copeland was there, your financial officer, correct? and wonderful meeting. And I was just learning about budget. And so I told them about that. They're like, oh yeah, that's gonna take 80 hours. I was like, wow, I asked for the wrong thing. But what I learned about budgeting from this gentleman, and what makes this place, you know, one of the qualities of the A district rating that we have is the financial wherewithal that you guys are operating under and what you've been doing since you got here, Dr. Moore. What Donald Fagan has done with you and how you righted the ship, and then you brought in Mr. Green and his team. You know, when Donald Fagan was here, I'd get a big budget book if I asked for one. With him, it's like, it's all online, and I'd, you know, because cost is cost. And I just want to say that I learned a whole bunch just sitting with the both of them for 45 minutes, I think it was. Just asking questions, trying to understand how the FTEs work, all these different things that you guys do. The budget, you know, a lot of times we put something out, we're going to spend this much here, we're going to spend this much here, we're going to spend this much here, and we're going to execute our budget because we got this much revenue coming in and all that. But in government, it doesn't always work that way because someone else is calculating your revenue for you and you have no idea what they're doing. I learned that about this school system, that the state is always making changes. And so I just wanted to say thank you for what you guys continue to do in the area of finance and making it better and making it clean and making it as transparent as possible, and continue the good work in that, okay? Thank you.
Kevin McDonald is next. Lamar Noda-Giacomo is on deck.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. And I'm Kevin McDonald. I'm wearing my Tommy Hilfiger shoes in honor of the ex-CEO and one of our board members. I wanted to speak about the work group progress. I know that many people would like to see us get past this. And it was interesting, the priest made a mention of acting in one accord. I think most of us function with the idea that we're going to seek unity, accommodate differences amongst one another, compromise, and contribute to a shared solution. Unfortunately, it seems that the plaintiff in our lawsuit has not taken that path. For those who don't know, our desegregation order is about 60 years old. Joe Idolette Jr. was one of the original plaintiffs. His name is, of course, on the building here. And in 2018, I believe it was, we were moved to work group status to seek agreement on unitary status in the school district. That basically just means that we no longer have a dual school district running for certain children in certain ways and different rules and different procedures for other children. I'm quite confident that we have met and exceeded that for a long time, as the superintendent has said. But we have to, the process requires that we agree on the documentation and agree with the NAACP, who is a plaintiff, on where we stand. They're supposed to identify specific areas for improvement. Now, for those who don't know, our annual cost just for attorney fees is about $100,000 plus. So every year that we muddle through this is costing the school district a lot of money and a lot of staff time. Both Dr. Moore and all of the staff are spending hours getting together to talk about something, and the ball doesn't move forward. Dr. Jones was originally appointed to this work group, and I think that she worked hard, and she was a good choice at the time. She was close to the people in NAACP. The idea of coming to one accord and seeking unity made sense to have somebody who had a close relationship with them. But it seems that that close relationship hasn't resulted in the kind of cooperation that we expected. We haven't seen the positive inputs, haven't seen progress, and there's no sign of that progress. There's a need for change. That close relationship isn't working. It was obvious from the last meeting where they just refused to accommodate to anything and to agree to anything. The head of our transportation department, bus department, is Jennifer Idolette, who's the daughter of one of the original plaintiffs. Her job is to provide school transportation, bus transportation that's fair and equitable and supports all of the children in the school district. She does an excellent job at that. She testified during this work group.
Thank you. Lamar Noda-Giacomo is next. Mershawn Green is on deck and will be our last speaker.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I just want to say amen to Kevin's comments. And I want to say that I know Jackie personally. I know that she's very dedicated to her job. She does her homework, and she works harder than most people I know. And I just want to say, you know, let's get this behind us and appoint Jackie again to the NAACP versus SDIRC work group. Okay, and let's get this done, save the taxpayers a lot of money, and let's heal the wounds instead of reopening them all the time. And thank you, Jackie, for doing such a good job.
Okay, our last speaker is Mershawn Green.
Good evening, Mershawn Green, Community Advocate. I would like to speak about the desegregation order and the negative perceptions spoken when discussing it. It's clear that there's a gross lack of understanding on what the desegregation order is and what it is meant to achieve, as evidenced here tonight. Is it awful that we're in the year 2025 under a desegregation order from 1967? Absolutely. Because what does that say? It says that in the year of 2025, the district has failed to meet the standards of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Instead of the conversation being, we must allocate the resources necessary to ensure we meet the desegregation order, far too many have stated we need to get from under it, or let's push it forward, or as Susan Mahill said, be done with this mess. While ignoring the negative impact the conditions have had on hundreds of thousands of African American children and employees over the last 58 years in this district. I witnessed droves of people come and speak about the negative implications and psychological issues that wearing masks have on students. Where is that concern for the generations of African American children educated in an often negative, discriminatory, and sometimes even toxic learning environment? The Civil Rights Act and the desegregation order weren't met simply by having black and white students in the same schools. That is only physical integration. Achieving true integration requires a fair, just, and welcoming environment for African American students and employees. And that is where the district is falling short. The work necessary to comply with the desegregation order has been politicized. How does creating a fair, just, and inclusive learning environment and working environment political? How is it a bad thing? Shouldn't we embrace creating a learning environment where all students can thrive and excel, a positive learning environment where all students feel equally valued, equally protected, and equally represented? Shouldn't we want every student to feel heard? Shouldn't every employee feel like they matter and have the opportunity for advancement? How is that negative in an environment? Or is the issue because it is black children and black employees at the subject of the litigation? If that is what has triggered so many, then they should check their biases because the issue lies within them. Data shows that employers with a diverse and inclusive culture are leaders in their industries. It translates to increased performance, employee retention, and business revenue. But back to students. How do you think parents feel sending their children off to an environment that may be hostile or may have long-term negative effects on their children? They're entrusting the school district to protect their children. You are those students' parents when they are in your care. And if we can't ensure and trust that our children will be protected and treated fairly in the school district, why are we giving our tax dollars to this entity? When you discuss the desegregation order, I need you to think about it as if it were your child.
Thank you. All right. That is the end of our public input. Dr. Moore, did you want to speak to anything?
No, ma'am. There are some comments that I'd like to make, but I'll do that as we present item E9.
Did you want to refer to the communication at Sebastian River High School? Otherwise, I'll speak about it. What happened? Because people say that it was the school district's fault.
Yes, we did discuss it during the last workshop, and there was a communication line that was down that circumvented some of the communication going through, but as I mentioned then, we have problem solved and ensured there's appropriate protocols in place so that doesn't happen.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that we said that in a public meeting because that was my concern as well, is that parents didn't find out until like after school. So I was a little worried about that and brought it up at the workshop. Board members, anyone else?
Yeah, I do.
Ms. Rosario?
Dr. Moore, I have some questions for you. First question is, do we have any unfair hiring practices in our school district?
No, ma'am.
Are we mistreating our students in any way?
Over my fired or dead body.
Are we mistreating or treating differently any students based on their race, religion, creed, or anything of the like?
Absolutely not.
Are we doing anything nefarious in our community that would cause parents to mistrust our system?
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak to something that somebody said? We're good? Okay. All right, I'm going to move to the consent agenda as amended. I'd like to call for a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
So moved.
All right, Dr. Posca is first.
Dr. Jones, second. That's what you said.
Dr. Jones is second. All right. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Did she say aye?
Madam, can we just check that we can hear when she communicates?
Yeah.
She's muting me, so I'm trying to stay on. I keep getting muted.
She said yes.
She did say yes, but
Yeah, but we're trying to figure out what's the problem with her mic?
It's on her end.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. All right, thank you. So we have approved our consent agenda. We're moving on to action items. We're going to use, there are 2 items that have been moved from consent to action. First one is 5E. Mrs. Rosario.
it's my item, okay?
Yeah.
I'm
Board
sorry.
members-
He's got to present the item first.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is an item to appoint a new member to our fund board, Ms. Leica Gerwin. I did, in the Monday briefing in which my wife broke her ankle, not give this information to the board, gave that information today, but Leica is an absolute treasure in this community, a brilliant person, graduated from Embry-Riddle University. She was the previous chair of the Ed Foundation prior to it becoming a DSO, and the volume of time that she spent working with myself, working with Janet Knupp, and transitioning it over, really was absolutely just giving of her time and did it in an absolute outstanding way. Some of you may recall Leica. She was the individual, her and her husband, who bought all new uniforms when we shifted the name to Gifford Tigers. Just, let's get it done, let's not waste time. She has been a significant investor in a number of different organizations in our community. She and her husband funded $500,000 for the Jimmy Graves Community and Sports Complex. So it is with great privilege that our board, the Ed Board, has considered it and recommending to you that we appoint her. That is the item.
Thank you. Ms. Rosario, you brought the item
Yes,
from
that's-
consent to action.
Yes, that is exactly why I wanted to bring it to action. I think it's, this is not a routine item, and it deserved an explanation such as the one that Dr. Moore just provided.
Okay. Anyone else like to discuss it? All right, call for a motion.
I make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right, Dr. Posca, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, it passes 5-0. All right, our second item is 6E. Dr. Moore.
I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Green to present the item as he did in workshop.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Excuse me, I have either sinus infection or strep throat, we think. Every 3 years, we are required to approve a plan for our English language learners. That plan describes the support structures the school district will put in place for those students. It has 11 key areas, from the identification of the students, assessing their proficiency, how we do state and local assessments, the curriculum and instruction they are provided, the monitoring, the rights and notifications, and the training of personnel to support that. This plan now is up for renewal for the 25 through 28 plan. A team has been working on it since January, which includes curriculum instruction, student services, systems improvement and innovation, accountability and research, as well as federal programs ESOL team, and a community ELL parent group that reviews the plan. The plan has been updated to remove old language such as paper forms to online forms, to change the names of various people and roles and responsibilities in the plan, and has had an addition added to help support our students, our ELL students, even on college and career assessments such as PSAT, ACT, SAT, and the CLT, to ensure that they have things such as bilingual dictionaries, extended time, and the test directions read to them in their heritage language, and other support structures that our English language learners might need to be successful in our program of study. So this plan is for the 25 to 28 3-year renewal.
Thank you. Ms. Rosario?
Yes, that's exactly why I pulled it. So I'm just grateful for Ms. Besura and her team to have edited some of the recommendations from the last workshop, specifically to the PSAT, the SAT, the CLT, and the ACT, which are all scholastic college entrance exams, and the accommodations for the ELL. So I'm grateful for that edit. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, any other board members? All right, I'll call for the vote. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay. Mr. Dyer, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, passes 5-0. All right, moving on. Action agenda item 9A. We do not have a speaker for that one. We have lots of speakers tonight, but that's not one of them. All right. Dr. Moore, would you like to present the item?
Item 9A is the public hearing for approval to adopt the revised or rescinded school board policies. These are the items, I believe we call them the Edgar policies. Is that correct, Mr. Green? Yes. Mr. Green presented these at workshop, and there was very little discussion on these.
Okay. Do you want to say something else, Mr. Green? Okay. All right. Any discussion, board members? All right. Could I get a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
Okay. So we have the motion by Ms. Rosario, the second by Dr. Jones, or her cartoon. Sounds like a cartoon person. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No, it passes 5-0. All right. So we're going to move to action item 9B. 9B, would you present the item, Dr. Moore?
Our attorney won't present it.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. Did we have a public hearing on those policies?
This is a request for approval to adopt for the first one. So it needs to be a public hearing, right?
Well, yeah, but you said we didn't have anybody that was here.
We
to
didn't have any
speak,
speakers
correct?
written down, but is there anyone that wanted to speak to that? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So we have
That's
to redo the vote. Go ahead. Thank you, because some of these are requests to set the public hearing date,
Yes.
and that is different.
That's the next
All right.
one. This is the actual
Got it.
public hearing for
Okay,
those
sorry about that.
policies.
So going back to 9A, this is a public hearing. Hold on one second, because I want to make sure that I read exactly what it is. So I'm going to call for, all right. This item deals with approval to adopt revised rescinded school board policies as noted on this item. Dr. Moore, have you documented that this public hearing was properly advised in accordance with state statutes?
Yes, ma'am.
We're now in recess. This meeting is to conduct the public hearing as advertised. Public hearing is now in session. The time is 7:44. Dr. Moore, are there any written responses to the advertised public hearing to be read at this time?
Not at this time.
The public is invited to address only this issue at this time. Is there an individual representing organization or their own personal or public interest who wishes to speak? Mrs. Pippin, no? Okay. Anyone else? All right, I'm going to call for a motion.
Second.
Okay, let me revise this. I was hoping I'd get the same names. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. All right, the second one is a request to set a public hearing.
Yes, This
Okay.
this one is.
That's where I was.
Yes, that's okay.
Thank
We-
you.
We got it. This is School Board Policy 0169, which is your, I'm sorry,
You do have a public speaker.
on this one, on this item?
Yeah, but I
okay.
haven't, we have to present the
Okay,
item
yep,
first.
Yep, we're good. It's been a long night. As you recall, at the superintendent's workshop on March 10th, and then we did it, I think, in February as well, we went over extensive revisions to policy 0169, your public participation at school board meetings. We've made a number of language changes, and so the request today is to set a public hearing for the adoption of the revisions to school board policy 0169, public participation at school board meetings.
Okay, so at the superintendent's workshop on March 10th, 2025, board members determined that school board policy 0169.1 be revised and brought back to the board. The revisions were discussed at the April 14th superintendent's workshop. Request to set a public hearing for adoption of revisions to school board policy 0169.1, public participation at school board meetings. I'm going to ask if there are any speakers. We do have one.
That's you.
Okay, we do have one public speaker that is a request. Ms. Pippin. Can we at least mute that until she's ready to speak? Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. So this came about because our Brevard chapter of Moms for Liberty won their First Amendment lawsuit. This was a bipartisan thing that was passed through the courts, and it's very important to hear your constituents, whether you agree with them or not, and same thing. Maybe not everybody agrees with our organization, but everybody deserves the right to be heard. And then it's your job as elected officials to listen to your constituents and make the best policy and procedure for our children in our district. And I just wanted to thank you for making the revisions. As a chapter chair of an organization, I don't think that we should get 5 minutes and everybody else get 3 minutes. I think everybody should get 3 minutes across the board, and our organization agreed with that as well. So I just wanted to say thank you for doing that. It's going to save you time, and everybody should have the allotted time, whether they're a citizen or with an organization. Thank you.
Okay, and that's all we have for speakers on the list. Could I get a motion to approve request to set the public hearing date for adoption of revisions to School Board Policy 0169.1, public participation at board meetings?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, anyone like to second? Mr. Dyer. Anyone have a discussion on that? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? 5-0. All right, we are now to 9C. 9C is another request to set public hearing date for adoption for revisions to the Code of Student Conduct Handbook, effective for the 2025-2026 school year. Dr. Moore?
As you just referenced, this is our code of conduct going out for public hearing. We did present it to workshop at the last workshop meeting. Ms. Christofoli and team did provide additional language which was reviewed with board members regarding a student attendance. So we're just setting it for public hearing and looking forward to receiving any feedback so we can improve code of conduct.
All right, we do have one speaker, Ms. Pippin.
All right, thank you again. I'm going to make this brief. We had 7 Moms for Liberty members that attended one or both sessions for the Code of Conduct. There was not many changes made, but I wanted to compliment the staff again for including the elementary, middle, and high school principals in this decision making. And I actually learned a lot with the second session with the younger students with dress code and name badges. I didn't realize, having older students in the school district, that they were letting us know as elementary principals and teachers that it was the parents' responsibility with young children when they were not in dress code and they were in dress code violations. So having those lesser disciplines for those younger students made sense, whereas the middle school and the high school are they're older, they need to be more responsible with their dress code and having their badge around their neck for safety. So I just wanted to compliment the way it was handled and the emails that went out and the process that happened, and for the minor changes that were made. Thank you very much to the district.
Okay, I'm going to call for a motion to approve request to set a public hearing date for adoption of revisions to the Code of Student Conduct Handbook effective for the 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
Okay, Dr.
Second.
Tosca. Second by Mrs. Rosario. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It passes 5-0. All right, we are now to 9D. 9D is social media litigation. Request approval to initiate litigation against social media companies and to contract with Wagstaff and Cartmel and its co-counsel, Beasley, Allen, Crow, Methvin, Portis, and Miles, PC, Goza, and Honnold, LLC, Wright Law Group, LLC, and Snippen and Spellman, PA. Dr. Moore.
School Board Attorney will present.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had extensive discussions about this at the April 14th Superintendent's Workshop. We had a presentation from Mr. Wright. We talked about how this would be no cost to the district. This is a contingency agreement similar to the Jewel litigation. We can definitely, we're going to work on, if the school board approves it tonight, we're going to work on filling out that plaintiff fact sheet and seeing how things go. This is a long-term thing, but it's so important to understand that there are no expenditure district funds for this.
Okay, thank you. We do have a speaker, Ms. Pippen.
Okay, at our last Moms for Liberty meeting, this was one of our topics of discussion, and we had a couple of parents that were concerned with this. We wanted to make sure that the district wasn't going to overstep social media of what happens after school hours or after school activities or cafeteria time, something like that, where it would infringe on a parental right. We did have a couple parents and community members look at the school-issued laptops to see if students could gain access to Snapchat and Facebook and things that this litigation would be against, and they cannot have access to that. So just like they can't access inappropriate websites, they don't have access to those social media platforms on their school-issued devices. So the only way that they would be able to access those things during school hours would be on their cell phones, but due to litigation and our policy and procedures with our district, children cannot be on their cell phones during instructional time. So I just want to make sure with some parents, grandparents, and community members' concerns that it doesn't overstep the boundaries of parental rights, and just make sure that it's only during school hours that this litigation is going for, not after school hours, where a parent, grandparent, or a community member may allow their child to access social media. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like a call for a motion.
So moved.
I'd just like to say one thing.
Okay, hold on. Can I get a second?
He gave a second.
Okay.
Dr. Posca did.
I'm sorry, he made the motion, right? Okay. And Mr. Dyer, second? All right, any discussion? Mr. Dyer?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that this is part of the full. Can we mute that? This is part of the Full Employment for Attorneys Act, because you must understand that they're going to get 30% plus expenses, and we're not a primary litigant, so we're just kind of tagging on to the case. So to me, it's really not about the money, and there will be some expense to us because we have to provide a lot of documents and do a lot of data. I don't know how much that's going to be, but to me, it's more about restricting the social media in the school than the money part of it. Because usually these things in class, they call this a mass action, not a class action. But this particular litigation, probably our financial benefit will be long time and little money. But so if you feel good about the idea, then that's what to me, we're really voting on.
Anyone else like to discuss it?
Yeah, I'd
Okay,
like to
Dr.
say
Posca?
I'm definitely in favor of participating in this lawsuit. I think it's, I know there were some concerns, I guess, brought up from a speaker. It's important to know that we're not going to, this lawsuit doesn't really regulate them. We're seeking justice, basically, for people who are wronged through these social media companies. Basically, their algorithms have been proven to cause remodeling in the brain, including the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, and the mesolimbic system, to promote dopamine while using the social media apps. This was done purposefully by the social media companies and knowingly, and has resulted in significant increase in psychiatric illness in our children and suicide. Through research, this has been proven. So this is seeking justice for people who have been wronged. This is an important thing to do. It will likely down the road lead to legislation that has some restrictions, but that is not what this lawsuit is going to do.
Okay, Ms. Rosario?
So I've had some questions. I think overall, I think it's a good thing that we consider joining this lawsuit, certainly for all of the reasons that have already been mentioned. First and foremost would be restricting student access to these social media sites, specifically during school times, school start time and up until school end time. My concerns are similar to the citizen, Ms. Pippin, and I've shared this at the workshop too, which is, the unintended consequences of what might happen as a result of the litigation. Because it's so fluid, we were told at the workshop from the attorney Wright, I think his name is, that things may change. And that's the part that concerns me, because we don't know, we're not responsible for what may change. I just don't want to have any restrictions on students that would infringe on parental rights outside of the school hours. Within the school hours, of course, they are within our purview, of course, but honestly, that's really my biggest concern, is the unknown, what we don't know from here on forward. And of course, for our students who are in the secondary level, I can think of, a potential scenario where they're studying business and they are needing to access social media while in school during breakout sessions, let's just say, and they have to, in this project, create not just a business plan, but also a social media platform and maybe a potential website, and of course, I'm just completely thinking out of the box here, but the potential for them not having that access, that's what concerns me. So, where do we have healthy boundaries of, using it healthily, using these things healthily during the school day for our older students while restricting it for the younger students? Those are the kinds of things that concern me. I will say that I am leaning more towards supporting this, because it's my understanding, and Ms. Enville, if you can just clarify this for me, at any point in time, the board can, even if we're voting tonight, the board can, come together and vote to remove ourselves from the case? So we're voting tonight to join the case, but at any point in time, we can remove ourselves from the case. Is that right?
So yes, you can do that, Madam, through the chair, I'm sorry. And the school board has to decide to join the lawsuit, and then we'd also have to formally decide to accept or reject any settlement offers, if that's really what is going to be. So the board is going to have to come back and decide however it moves forward, what that is. I think the goal of litigation is to fundamentally change how social media operates, right, and how it specifically targets our children. And I can tell you that Dr. Moore and I've had extensive discussions on the effects of social media on our school campuses and what has happened, and how it's affected our students and their mental health.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think that, I thank you for that answer, because I think entering tonight, we're voting to enter into the litigation, but then we'd have to vote again towards the end of the litigation once it's all over, and decide whether we want to
accept any settlement offer. Right.
Offer.
And this is not a quick thing. This is going to take a while.
And at that point, we would know what was decided.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing as you move forward, Ms. Envil, in conversations with the other attorneys that are, I suppose, listed in the agreement, because things seem to be so fluid, in the discussion that we had during the workshop, there was extensive talk about the algorithms. So if we're looking to change how social media works, I think changing the rules around these algorithms, that's going to make a big difference. That's where I'm like, okay, if that's the end game, like Mr. Dyer said, you know, it's really not about the money, it's about making the change. Like, to me, that's where change happens, because that's where kids are getting hooked. And it would make sense to make whatever it is in the arguments, if the end goal is that, this board member would be satisfied, because we don't want to be in this hamster wheel again after this and still have to fight, you know, the abuse that social media has caused on children. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay, Dr. Jones?
She said she's good.
You're good? Okay. Mr. Dyer, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say basically what you said. I mean, we will have no influence as the case really goes to trial and to court or any input into it. Our sole recourse is either to accept or reject what they have agreed to. And so I guess we'll see how that turns out, and then we'll, as a board, make another decision.
And I can keep you updated if you vote for this. I'll keep you updated on the litigation, how it goes. Our plaintiff fact sheet that we would have to fill out, having had done it already before, I mean, they estimate 10 hours. I think it's a little bit more than that. But any of the time that I spend on that will not be billed to the district.
Okay, so there was another case that was, gosh, I can't remember how far back, that we were kind of looking into, and I had asked, why aren't we pursuing this? And that was the Juul vape lawsuit. And we did not elect to do that, and I know they settled, what, $500,000 per district?
No, actually, the settlement was based on a methodology based on when the district got into the litigation and based on the number of students, schools, high schools. It was very large. I had Mr. Wright go ahead and, because I worked the SWAG staff at Cartmel, we worked with them. They headed up that litigation as well. And he said the district would have received about $400,000 worth of unrestricted funds. And so I don't think it's all about the money. I think it's the effects that social media has had on our students, but also to the extent that there is some sort of financial settlement, you can use that to put back into programs to help our students recover from this type of thing and to address those mental health issues that social media has caused.
Right, and that's what I was thinking with the vaping issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm all for it, and then when it comes down to it, at the end, we can make a decision to either accept or not. So, board members, with that, I'm going to call for a motion.
So moved.
Okay. I'm just making sure that we add everybody. Okay, so moved. Thank you. And we had a second, and we had discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. All right, we are to action item 9E, and that is why we have so many people at the end of our meeting, I believe. We do have several speakers for this. However, if you already spoke to this item, then you may not speak again. Okay, so just letting you know that when I go through the order of this, that's why I keep notes when you speak. All right. Action agenda item E, 9E, appointment of a board member representative for SDIRC NAACP work group. Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you just referenced, this is an appointment of a board member to the NAACP School District Work Group. This item is not a typical item that would come in April. Typically, this would be an item that would come in your board's organizational meeting. The major difference of this item is this is not a recommendation coming forward from me as your superintendent to approve an item. It is for the board to appoint a representative. So I have 5 board members, 5 bosses. The 5 bosses are going to make a recommendation of 1 boss to represent them until November on this particular committee. I believe I will have additional comments, but I'd like to withhold those comments until after public comment, if that's okay with the board chair.
That's fine. So we have several speakers. Mr. Stewart, I believe you already spoke to DSEG order, correct?
No, I haven't spoke to the appointment of the board, no.
Okay.
I spoke about the DSEG
Just the DSEG order. Okay, go ahead, come on up.
I feel personally that the person who is in question about putting on this board is certainly not qualified because of the fact that there's a major conflict of interest here. Vero News has reported that there's a cultural war that always come up when this person is dealing with anything dealing with race itself. There's a history. There's public records which show that there were some problems with this person from a position in New York at a school that was an alternative school in New York, namely an alternative school that supposedly they was in Florida. She was supposed to have been on a leave, child care leave, and she was working at the time at Westwood High School in Fort Pierce. And according to the Education Commissioner of New York, this was some kind of maybe a crime or whatever. You got a case number that I have in my records to verify it. Secondly, there was a job, the way that they left the job in Fort Pierce Westwood, it says that the position was not refunded. Then there was a position here in Indian River County at Storm Grove Middle School. And the principal at Storm Grove Middle School informed her that they was not going to give her a continued contract. There's a problem when you have alternative schools wherein many of the students there are minority students, and you have continued problems. You end up, if we was in the military, they'll call it a dishonorable discharge. And you end up getting dishonorably discharged at all of them. That's an indication to me that you may have some problems dealing with people of color. And that is in no way possible for her to make good decisions on a board that is dealing with equal rights for black students. No, by far no. We've gone 60 years. We don't need to go anymore having people who are that's setting fire to anything that we do to try to get equality for the black kids in this county. It's time for this to stop. Let's stop playing games. Let's do what's right. Let's do what's right. Don't put people on that board that's with Moms for Liberty that you know does not have any kind of love or care for any black people.
Thank you. Jennifer Pippin is next.
Thank you for the ability to speak. With that last speaker, we reject everything he said about Moms for Liberty. We have members and their children that are African American, biracial. We absolutely love them just as much as any white, Indian, Pacific Islander, whatever counterpart. So we reject that. And again, Moms for Liberty, we are for all students. The NAACP is only looking out for African American students. It's in their name. So if you're gonna look at organizations and try to belittle an organization, it's not ours. I also wanted to let everybody know, in case they don't remember from the December 2024 meeting, Dr. Jones, in the great discussion that the board had, did say that she recommended other people to serve on the committee to see the work that's being done with the desegregation order. Also in that same meeting, December 2024, Mr. Dyer said if the committee member at the time was doing a good job, she should remain on. I want to make sure when you guys vote this evening that you remember those sentiments. Also, there has been talks to have a possible new lawyer for the desegregation order, someone who's a little stronger that is going to be able to litigate, so we're not spending $105,000 to $150,000 a year on a 60-plus-year-old case. And we are a desegregated school district. All students have free transportation regardless of race. All students have access to all classes, clubs, organizations, and sports, regardless of race. Let's put more effort into ending this because it's costing taxpayers and this board and the community a lot of time. Florida Superintendent of the Year, Dr. Moore, and national finalist superintendent, says the schools are desegregated. We cannot have it both ways. He wouldn't have this distinct honor if our schools were divided by race. He even said it today. We are desegregated in the school district of Indian River County. And finally, I'm going to end with, Vero News is not a source of factual information, and it's been proven time and time again. It is mostly by one reporter, I call him a blogger, is biased liberal propaganda and should not be brought into this room for a board to decide. You listen to your constituents, look at the facts, and pick the best board member to represent this school district, not the NAACP that we're in the desegregation order against. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. McDonald, I believe you already mentioned a person's name. No, sir, you mentioned a person's name when you spoke and said she was on that work group, right? Correct? Okay, thank you. All right. Mr. Kenny is next.
Hi, y'all. So the desegregation order is about law. It's about equality of opportunity. I was really blown away on Thursday's meeting. The Director of Transportation, Jennifer Idolette, was present to present that her department is fully unified and deserves unitary status. Ms. Idolette is the daughter of Joseph Idolette Jr. Joseph Idolette Jr. hired the NAACP because he didn't have finances according to the family profile in Vero News on February 11th, which, by the way, is an amazing story. Family's incredible. If we discipline the schools the way they discipline their kids to achieve the way they do, wow, we'd be in such a great place. That's a sidebar. Anyway, the point of all this is that the NAACP, after hearing all that, after hearing going above and beyond for people in school choice, transportation provided, which, by the way, 46% of African Americans who are taking advantage of school choice use the transportation. In 23, it was 40%, according to the figures. The NAACP lawyers came back and asked if bus stops had equity. They wanted to know the equity of the locations of the bus stops. I don't even know what that means. The point of all this, I say, is because it was suggested by Jackie Rosario to bring Ms. Idolette in because this should be an easy way to build confidence, move forward, get unitary status. It didn't happen, but that's the kind of accountability you have in her. And that family deserves, for all they've done, not to be mocked in such a manner over these little nuanced DEI words like equity over a bus stop. Point 10 in their 12 questions, in case y'all are wondering. Which, by the way, their lawyer forced her way in to read into the record after he left the meeting to do a function. So I think you need to have a continued accountability from Ms. Rosario or someone of her stature to do this. Because apparently, after 5 meetings with this wonderful lady right here, Dr. Kyra Shafty, talking about mentoring, They couldn't even vote on that. 2 meetings of questions, 3 meetings of information. You've got a problem here in this work group. It's not really working, so let's get it right and keep it accountable.
Okay, Dana King is next.
Good evening. I'm Dana King. I have isolated 3 things I would like to recommend in the selection of the next SDIRC NAACP Workgroup Committee member. The first is trust, which comes from the plaintiffs, the Black community, to the individual under consideration. Trust is vital, and the person selected by vote tonight should by now have earned it, not just by their words, but by their actions. Number 2, accountability. This person must demonstrate it both in the delivery and acceptance of it. The 1967 court order has been validated and upheld in federal court several times. Can we all agree that court orders should be honored? The person selected must accept the fact, the basic fact, that this court order has been definitively adjudicated on behalf of Black students. It must be accepted for what it is and valued as a necessary blueprint to move the district to execution. Number 3, being on this committee is not about giving agency to Black students. Agency is dependent upon someone feeling a sense of control over their own actions and being responsible for their consequences. The DSEG order is a moral construct baked in human and civil rights. This work group cannot give someone their civil or human rights, but they can take them away by obstructing due process. Which leads me to the selection decision in front of you. The actions that will come out of accomplishing unitary status, born out of a lawsuit, should it ever be achieved, will be decided in partnership with someone who is trusted, and in this category, there are board members who have not earned the trust of the Black community. And this committee does not have the luxury of working to overcome distrust while the mission of unitary status continues to be elusive. The person selected should be held accountable for their actions. They should be able to open minds as a partner in this endeavor and not close them. And finally, a seat on this committee is not about rescuing Black children. Black children did not create an unjust educational system. And in reality, Black people shouldn't have to help you fix it. But here we are, willing to do the work, something that we have tried to do for decades. Please remember tonight, when you vote, too many children have been visibly and invisibly harmed by decades of indecision, intransigence, and ignorance. It's time to come to decisions that lead to agreement. For all those reasons that I have identified herein, I do not recommend nor support Board Member Rosario to sit on the Working Group Committee. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Mershon Green. Ms. Green, did you speak about the work group?
I did not.
Okay, you spoke about DSEG order?
Desegregation order is-
Okay. Are you good with that? Okay.
Hi, I'm speaking in my individual capacity, not on behalf of the work group. In Ms. Rosario's first 2 meetings on the NAACP work group, she targeted NAACP attorneys and tried to silence them. She was extremely aggressive to different NAACP members. She also repeatedly interrupted speakers and directed Matt, the district's attorney, to do her bidding, even giving him a childlike scolding and reminding him to do what she previously instructed him to do. Then she tried to tell us what the structure of the work group should be after we had been working together for 2 years, effectively and collaboratively. As a flustered Matt struggled to speak, I said, "Don't worry, she won't be on after November 19th. Witnessing her aggressive, obstructionist behavior firsthand, I was sure that you all had watched these meetings and agreed that appointing Rosario to the work group was not what was best by kids, nor best for progress toward unitary status. These last 2 years, we have had positive progress where two parties of a 58-year-old court-ordered desegregation order had actually came together and agreed on standards, creating a shared vision on what compliance looks like for the district. Since Ms. Rosario's appointment, the atmosphere has shifted. The interactions have gone from collaborative to somewhat contentious. Concerns were raised which had never been discussed or had never been an issue the past 2 years. In fact, there are instances in these meetings where Ms. Rosario has interrupted speakers to say that, oh, this is not relevant to the section that we're under. Please understand that the NAACP are not district professionals. We have relied on the district expertise as we develop these KPIs. This work that we're doing is not our day-to-day. Therefore, there will be questions in areas that are not being reviewed so that we can have a better understanding of the district. I would also like to speak to Jennifer Pippin, Moms for Liberty, Ms. Rosario's starch supporter, getting up and basically shaming Mr. Dyer.
To the item,
Hold on. You can talk about the board members, you can talk about the superintendent, but not other people. You need to speak to the item.
Okay, well, Ms. Pippin talked about me, and I need my seconds back.
Okay.
I was at 59. Ms. Pippin spoke about me, so I want to
If you want
address
to,
that.
if you want to refer to something she spoke about, yes.
Okay. Okay, can I get my seconds back, please? 59, I was on 59, thank you. Okay, basically labeling the NAACP as the enemy. Basically labeling the NAACP as the named party, as the enemy, because it's the named party for this DSEG, and they're advocating for African American children. This mentality is the reason that we have a 58-year-old desegregation order, because of the unwillingness to collaborate and do what's best by kids and staff. Also, another Moms for Liberty person called equity communism. He stated that he would do away with the equity work group if it were up to him. He then went on to nominate Ms. Rosario to be appointed to the work group because her views align with theirs. How is appointing someone who has never advocated for the African American community, spoken positively about the African American community, nor has met with her constituents in District 2, Best by Kids? She even went on to ask Dr. Moore if there have been complaints, when there have been complaints by employees and parents in your district. You did not know. File with the NAACP and Dr. Moore. Please do what's right tonight. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Moore, is there anything else you want to say about this item?
Just a little bit of clarity before the board considers the item. And I'll reference some things that were referenced, whether it was in public comment or the items that were just, the speakers that just spoke. There has been a significant amount of time spent on obtaining unitary status. If you were to evaluate the amount of time that I've spent on each individual initiative, this would probably be number 2 or number 3 in terms of the volume of time in which I've spent. I don't have that documented, but that's my own personal opinion. The Equity Committee, upon my arrival, was not functioning in good faith. It was not effective, and it wasn't yielding the results through the dialogue in which was taking place. We actually sought mediation, shifted from the equity group to the work group. There were some change of attorneys by both sides in the midst of that time, and when you shift an attorney in the middle of a case, it is a humongous shift or change of practice. Hush Blackwell, because it was referenced, we have not paid them any money since I have been here, with the exception of when we had to transition when Suzanne DiAgresta retired and we brought on a new firm in order to accelerate the work. We temporarily brought them in to help transition that work, and I think it was probably a 2 or 3 month period. Other than that, no payments. It was ridiculous, the volume of money that was being wasted. We function under the established retainer that we have with our current law firm. So I think there's been a month or 2 in which we've had to pay above and beyond that, and that's when we've been called to Miami by the judge. in the establishment of the work group, which is the current practice, we spent probably a year and a half, as Ms. Green referenced, creating KPIs. That is the information that we asked the judge. To be very honest with you, the judge was questioning both sides' attorneys, like what is going to be different from the equity group to the work group. But we agreed, the two sides agreed. I don't know if the judge agreed, but she said, because you guys agree, I'll say okay and allow it to happen. A year and a half to create the KPIs. Because in my mind, in the minds of, I believe, both sides, the issue was being very specific regarding the information or the data that was going to be provided to eliminate the questions, or to eliminate the discourse, the back and forth. In that time, Doc Jones was the individual who represented the board. That was grueling, hard work that did yield to a positive outcome. That positive outcome was the KPIs, in which we were able to clearly provide information aligned to the collectively agreed upon indicators, key performance indicators. We transitioned to looking at each of those KPIs over the last 6 to 9 months. We've heard two specific areas of KPIs, one of which we're going to mediation around the mentoring criteria, and we just heard the transportation. I've said it many, many, many times. I don't think who you all appoint will change my course of action in leading the district through this process. That course of action is to ensure that this district is entitled to and receives unitary status in each of the specific areas identified within that plan. I live in these schools. I live in this community. There are significant opportunities to improve in absolutely everything, from me to schools, but we do not have two school systems. We have one unified school system. I would hold our student body up as being a model. And I've told the story many times about Miami, who is obtained unitary status, and schools in which I was the principal had every hallway was a segregated hallway with that ethnicity and that specific hallway. Told the story many times, but you don't see that here. So there is work yet to be done, but I hold steady that the system has made significant progress over the last 5 years. The system should be extremely proud of how our faculty, how our students interact. As a community, a school district that is the most improved, 38th to 9th, a graduation rate that has gone from 89 to 96. And how did that graduation, what improved in graduation rate? African-American graduation rate improved 9 percentage points. Hispanic graduation rate improved 14 percentage points. White graduation rate improved 1 or 2 percentage points in that same period of time. The accomplishment of 96 comes on the back of our black and brown students. When you look at student performance, you see the exact same rate of improvement. We're a double A district and going to be a 3-time A district. We're closing the achievement gap. Our black and brown students are outpacing our white students. So is there work to be done? Absolutely. And it's hard. It's hard to accept. And it's hard for the community to engage in these kinds of conversation, because as it is presented, it shouldn't pull us apart. It should unite us and pull us together. There shouldn't be this level of friction in the room around this conversation. I just don't think it is, and it's disheartening. I understand that there's a lot of emotions and feelings attached to it, So tonight, the board will identify someone to represent them to the end of April. So with that, Madam Chair, I will turn it over to you to facilitate a conversation or a nomination or however you see fit.
Okay, at the December 9th, 2024 business meeting, the board revisited this appointment and voted for the current board representative to remain until April 2025, and to select a board representative for the SDIRC NAACP work group to serve until the next annual organization meeting to be held on November 17th, 2025, in realignment of the same. The existing member from the school district is Jaylen Rosario. The board may select to reappoint this representative or appoint a new member. Are there any board members that would like to nominate someone at this time? Mr. Dyer?
I'd like to nominate Terry Berenborg.
Okay.
Second that.
Was that a second?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any discussion? Mr. Dyer?
Yeah, I'd like to say I've listened intently to the comments tonight. I read a plethora of emails that was avalanched on us today. And I think that there have been some very good and insightful discussions. I would like to thank Peggy for the service that she did for the first couple of years as we got this thing up going, and I'd like to thank Ms. Rosario personally for the service that she has done. But hearing it tonight, you know, I talked about that I think it's not politics. We got to do what's right as a board. And what's right is to get this thing settled. And if you have it where we're so far apart and this appointment will create a divide, it's not really helping us get to where we want to get to. To me, the biggest failure of the American school systems has been the literacy rate. We have failed generation after generation of kids. I've talked about this for some time, but it is so important to me. That's how we get this thing fixed over time. We've got to not fail these kids anymore, and we've got to get this thing settled. I agree with Dr. Moore. I have looked at the achievements and the success. This district has done things that have been absolutely incredible, and I wouldn't even thought could have been done if you would have asked me 5 years ago when we started. This year, if we're lucky, our literacy rate should be up 5-6 points. We may even hit 70. 70% of our third graders reading at grade level in third grade. Now, you know who's affected mostly there? Sorry, minority kids. Those are the ones who are beginning to win. And I think that we have done such a great job compared to other places in Florida that I think we need somebody who will not be divisive, but somebody who is going to really try to get this work. And I felt that the chair of the board, who is our representative now, could probably best represent us as we try to go through the next phase of this. But I am all for doing what's right, taking care of all kids in our community, and really achieving the goals of not leaving any kid behind, but lifting them all up. And so, to me, that's why I've nominated Ms. Berenborg.
All right. Any other discussion?
Sure.
Dr. Bosca?
I mean, I think there's been some positive discussion here on this topic here today. And certainly at the work group meetings, I think we've had quite a bit of progress that's been made. But one of the things, as I listen to people discussing at the meetings and at the work groups, one of the things that I feel that I'm hearing is that there could be potentially two different conversations taking place. Sometimes I hear that potentially the goal of the work group is to right the wrongs and the sins of the past. And those sins were the marginalization of a group of people based on their color across the country, but specifically in this town. And it is a very real thing that people lived through. They were dehumanized, marginalized, segregated. They were made poor. They were not given opportunity. They were arrested on their way home from work for being out too late. They were abused, and ultimately, we cannot right the wrongs and the sins of the past with this work group. And if you want to come to an agreement and focus on helping all these kids, we got to make sure we're working ultimately towards the same goal here, and we're all having the same conversation. Because I don't have the power to fix what was done. I thankfully wasn't alive at that time. I grew up in a suburb of New York. I had, if you looked at like my neighbors, the house across the street and to my left and right, 2 of the 3 neighbors were black. The family across the street, the father was about the same age as my dad, and they had a son and a daughter. I knew the son, and he was similar age to me and my brothers. Both of our dads drove Cadillacs. He had, I believe it was an 80 Cadillac DeVille in a real smart maroon color. And my dad had a very nice light blue 79 Cadillac DeVille. And the interior leather seating matched the paint perfectly. And they kept those things clean, and if you did anything to those cars or got near them, you would hear that. And when the snow came, we would go outside. Somehow the first few snows were always at night. So you're out there in the dark. I had 2 older brothers, and we had a big driveway, and usually my neighbor was out. We'd all go out and we'd shovel, and oftentimes he would come over and he'd help us shovel our driveway, and then we'd go over and we'd help him finish shoveling his. And sometimes we'd have a little snowball fight or something. And when the snow melted, if you looked up and down that road during the summer, there was a basketball hoop every few houses, and there were pickup games all up and down the road pretty much all summer long. And if cars would come, we'd scatter and kind of go to the sides of the road. And if they drove too fast, sometimes we'd throw our basketballs at the cars. So I didn't grow up in those times. I can't try to fix or completely understand what happened. But as I walk through the schools, I don't see a segregated school. You know, I see a lot of kids that maybe grew up more like I did. And I think they're wondering why we're angry and kind of fighting about this stuff and not focused on just trying to help them. So I don't know for sure the solutions to coming to an agreement, but I think at the end of the day, we got to make sure we're trying to have the same conversation, because if we're not having the same conversation, you can't ever resolve it. You know, we won't ever fix it. You know, if we keep doing that, ultimately probably we need to do mediation, because I don't think we'll come to a solution together. And I understand that it sounds like NAACP has not enjoyed having Jackie in the meetings. You know, I think that's your fair opinion, and I'm willing to vote for a different member. But I think we should really try to show unity and end it, because I think that if we come together and we truly move forward together, every kid is going to do better. And nobody wants to hear people coming in here angrily talking about the past, because it's just opening the wound and making scar tissue. And I think we can do better.
Anyone else?
Well said.
Anyone else want to speak? I'll speak.
Are you going to accept?
Well, I'm going to discuss it first.
Discuss it. Oh, okay, good.
I was born in Detroit, and I've been back there a couple of times, and I've spent most of my career in Title I schools. And I had my kids go to school with me at Dodgertown Elementary. They could have gone to Osceola, that's where they got in. And it was a magnet school, brand new magnet school at the time. But I elected to bring them with me to Dodgertown because I wanted them to grow up in an environment where they could get to know lots of kids and be friends with lots of kids and get to know that in the real world, we do that. We get to be friends with lots of people. And when I went down, I left this district and I went down to St. Lucie. I spent a year at the district office as the supervisor for science for elementary. And I went to a school and it broke my heart because I saw the behavior was out of control. And teachers had given up. The principal had given up. Everybody gave up on those kids, and it broke my heart. So I actually went to the superintendent and I begged to take that school. And I was given that school. That was Garden City. Garden City's on Avenue Q in Fort Pierce. I was a minority at that school. There were people that wondered why I wanted to go there. It was because I saw what was going on, and I felt like I could at least try to help those kids at that school have this same exact education other kids got. It was mostly African American. It was 99% free and reduced lunch. I think we had 2 kids, and they were in preschool that didn't get free lunch. It was tough. It was one of the toughest things I've ever done. 5 years of tough. And it wasn't tough because of the kids. It wasn't tough because of the parents. It was tough because we were overcoming a lot of other things. And mostly it was because of the advantages that those kids didn't have. Knowing that, also know that I'm extremely data-driven. And when I see things that are actually working and benefiting kids, then kudos. That credit needs to be given. And so I've been watching all the work group meetings, and it's disheartening to me that we're still so far apart. If we really just focused on kids and what their needs are, and what we can do to make sure that all kids in our community beyond this get the same opportunities. So yes, I would accept that. Any other discussion?
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Opposed?
So we're not all in unity. It is a 4-1 vote. All right, thank you, board members. Any discussion? There's no discussion items. We are to school board member matters. Who would like to go first? Okay, Dr. Jones?
Just make sure I can send that with the ratio, just, thank the board members for a good meeting. That was just everything discussion. It was really excellent.
Dr. Jones, we can't hear
Yeah.
you. So sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Okay.
If you turn the volume on your microphone off and then talk, I think you'll be good.
All right, try that. Turn the volume on your microphone off. You want to do that? Okay. Anyone else want to go? Mr. Dyer.
I had quite a time since the last board meeting. I too went to the Evening of Enchantment at Fellsmere, which I thought was absolutely terrific, as well as attended 2 academic excellence awards at both Sebastian River and Vero Beach High Schools. Attended a Metropolitan Planning Organization meeting on roads, talking about a plan, and a community meeting, a community input meeting for the MPO, talking about roads going out to 2050, and if you don't get your 25 to 2050 report in on time in the next few months, then the state gives you no money until you get it in. So that's I don't know what that is. I just got back from a, last week on Wednesday through Friday, was at a financial seminar on school board accounting. And this was given by the Florida School Board Association to their members. And I must say that it was eye-opening. You know, I guess that in some ways coming in, I really now understand government accounting versus GAAP accounting. And in some of the things that I've tried to do coming in and going through the budget was to find these pockets of money. I must say that the state has been better at finding the pockets of money than I could have been as a turnaround guy. I found some in capital, but unfortunately, the way the money is siloed, if it's in capital, you got to have it in capital. What's going to happen? We're going to pay off the bonds, and the interest we've been paying on these bonds, which is quite a bit of money, is actually going to be available, but it's going to be available in the capital plan. As Bruce has talked about, and I guess is educated some also in the room tonight, the schools are really being defunded by the state. You know, if you go back and you look at the capital, back in 2008, 2009, when there was a recession, we were getting, is there an issue?
I was just making sure, Doc.
Okay. We were getting, we got two points of millage. They reduced it to 1.5 because the state taxes were not enough to cover the operations of the school. So they said, don't worry, we're going to go down to 1.5, but we'll give it back to you as soon as the state recovers. We're still at 1.5. If you look at that, only in that millage, I mean, that's what each half point is something like $12, $15 million a year now, probably over the course of the last 13 years. That's cost the school district $130 million. The basic fund that we have to do that the state requires, they have taken program after program that they did fund with extra funds and have now said, oh, you do that out of your basic fund. And they'll cost you thousands of dollars, and they'll give you, this year they're planning to give us $95 more a student. But they're talking about taking away half the allocation for career and technical and for IB programs and for all the advanced programs. That's going to cost the school district millions and millions of dollars. I mean, right now, based on what the projections are for the scholarship funds, and by the way, I believe in scholarship funds. I think I'm great for private schools, charter schools. I'm okay with home schools, but the state needs to pay for it, not out of the school district. We have, I think, 1,800 students that are receiving the scholarships. Going to their projection is 2,500 next year, which is going to take another $5 million out of the budget, which we're busily trying to cut. But there are 1,300 kids that were never in the public schools that are taking the money that used to go to our school district. How does that work? And that's what the state of Florida is doing. They are defunding public schools. And to me, that is just the wrong thing to do. And they are creating a crisis. I'm all for it. Let the state fund homeschooling, private schooling, charter school. It's fine. I love it. That's great. Competition is good. But they need to fund it. They can't continue to take it away from the kids that are left in the public school system. So anyway, there's some things that I saw that I'll discuss further with Bruce Green with some ideas and David Moore, and hopefully we'll bring it up to a board workshop. But I think that is something that really is a concern totally to me about what's happening with the budgeting and the budget process. A lot of the doji that we were talking about for our financial school system, the state has sucked it out of it, and things that they had funded before they've put into the basic allocation, which now we are responsible for rather than having additional funds. I also went to Tallahassee and met with, to go on when we talked with the legislature. But with Dr. Moore, I was able to set up meetings with both Alex Kelly, who is the Secretary of Commerce, and he is over a lot of workforce funds and monies, and we may have stumbled upon a little help somewhere or not. We're going to try. I think we're working hard on trying to get some of those funds. And we also met with, David and I met with Manny Diaz, who's the Commissioner of Education, which was kind of a great conversation as well. Manny appointed David to an AI committee that the state has just formed, which is terrific. So it was great that we met with him. I guess you even though you guys knew of each other, you didn't cross paths too much in Miami. But the interesting thing to me is he knew very little about Indian River School District, and has said that he would come down and visit with us. So we will see if that happens, and I think that's great. We talked extensively about charter schools, which is very interesting. His kids are in private charter school, and he knows quite a bit about it and has been involved in it. I think we're the second classical school in the state of Florida, which we talked about. And interestingly enough, he said, we told him the way that Dr. Shefty was also there in the meeting. I forgot she was in both of those meetings. We talked about the curriculum, and he said, what you're doing, we talked about Flagler College, and we talked about Jacksonville, and he said, that's exactly the way to do it. Said, the Hillsdale curriculum talks great, but their execution and support has been very poor in the state, from his mouth. So he said, the way you're doing it is the way I'm advising all the other school districts in Florida to do it, that are going to try classical, and there's several other counties that are doing it. So I thought that that was a very interesting thing. So I would applaud the past board and the current board for the classical school and for the way that we're approaching it. And it seems like a great idea and a great thing. And with that, I think that's a
wrap?
That's
for you?
a wrap.
Okay. Ms. Rosario?
Yeah, so I've had that conversation with Dr. Moore about losing funding over school choice. And in fact, he has told me he's not worried one bit. I said in our one-on-one, how could you not be worried? And he said, because we plan based on the staff allocation model. So if you have, for example, 5 less kids, you just have to staff our schools with 5 less kids. Funding will come in for each student, and that's how we'll just, I guess he'll handle the funding at that point. So we did have we had many conversations about that, and that seems to be, he seemed to tell me he wasn't worried about it. So I tend to look at it slightly different, where these are taxpayer families who are now, instead of thinking it as defunding public schools, it's really funding school choice. So I guess you can look at the glass half full or half empty, but in this particular case, Dr. Moore has told me he's not worried about it. He might have a different conversation with you, but with me, he said he wasn't worried. The chair said at the end of the last vote, something to the effect of, I see we're not unified. The mere fact that the chair could say that would prove there was no unity. There's no need to add the tagline on there on a vote when any individual member has the right to vote yay or nay. And that is where personality politics has to be removed from the equation. When personality politics gets removed from this dais, then things will change. The staff, this week is Staff and Teacher Appreciation Week, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of the staff and the teachers and staff and administrators and everybody else involved for everything that they do. It is incredibly important. This week on Friday, I have the Value Adjustment Board meeting, so I'm looking forward to that. Vero Beach High School Scholarship Night, Sebastian River High School Scholarship Night, and the Academic Excellence Awards Night at Sebastian River. Fantastic events, incredibly inspiring to see how these kids work so hard for their future. It's just so exciting. And the next time that we see each other, we will have graduates in our school district. So I want to say an early congratulations to all of the graduates in our school district. Sebastian River High School will be on May 15th and Vero Beach High School on May 16th. And thank goodness this year we're having evening ceremonies instead of Friday night and Saturday morning. So it won't be that hot, but I'm glad for it.
Alrighty. So I've been attending the legislative subcommittee meetings. Actually, I run those with Danielle Thomas, who is the FSBA legislative lobbyist that we have. Every Friday we've been meeting except for Good Friday. If we started out during session at the beginning, just every other Friday, and then it got down to every Friday. Of course, Sine Die is coming up. It's this Friday. However, it doesn't look like they're going to finish on time, so they have called for a recess and then come back. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and how that will delay our budgeting process. Sorry, Bruce. I know that really hurts you guys because you have to wait for them to approve the budget. So that's where we are with that. Day in the legislature, I helped to organize that for the state, and I got the guest speaker. It was Dr. Moore. He came up and spoke, and afterwards every other district went up to him and asked if they could have him come visit. I said, how about you guys come visit us, because he needs to stay here. So that was great. I think, thank you for doing that. I did see you guys up there at the same time I was up there, but I didn't get the same meetings that you got in, and I appreciate you all being there for, and to speak to legislators. I think it's important. So I also attended three of the proclamations for Dr. Moore. And at first I thought his head's gonna get really, really big, but I realized that it's great for the school district and for the community to celebrate when you have such a great award. And I think, thank you for accepting those. I know sometimes you were like, oh my goodness, here we go again. But I think it's great that the whole community kind of got behind that. I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Hart also. I know behind the scenes he does a lot for stuff like that. But I got to attend Indian River County Commission, the Vero Beach City Council, and the Sebastian City Council proclamations, and they were all wonderful. Got to be a judge for the Battle of the Books. I didn't get to judge much, but I got to watch it, and it was a lot of fun. It's great when kids get so excited about learning about the details of books. And there were questions that were really difficult. I mean, I was sitting there saying, wow, I can't believe the kids had to know that type of thing. It wasn't just a memorization. I went to the opening of Thrive. They're on a new campus. They're the old doctor's clinic. If those of you that have been around a long time remember the doctor's clinic, that's where they're located. The Taxpayer Association luncheon, Dr. Moore was the guest speaker there. A couple of us were in attendance, and we appreciate listening to. I kind of heard the same speech a lot, so the last couple of months, but it's a good one. So thank you for giving it again. I did attend Cruise in Decay, and that was super cute. I love the theme. Thank you for the car theme. My grandson loved the car theme, and we were all excited about kindergarten. So Agnes People Scholarship interviews. That is something that's really, the school board chair gets to sit in the interviews with the principals of both Sebastian and Vero Beach. And it took us 2 days this year because we had so many applicants, but we also had a lot of money, thank you, Bruce, because we asked him to investigate the money. It's, just so you know, it was a, is it the residuals or from the stock Okay, so it's from a stock that was donated in the memory of Agnes Peoples, who was a switchboard operator back when AT&T was a little tiny company. And so just that stock residual is what we use. And this year we were able to give up to, I think, $212,000, somewhere around there. So that was really nice. And we had a lot of girls that were able to help support through college. And their stories are amazing. You heard 6 stories tonight that every one of them was just blew me away. I wish I was that great in high school. So Bill Wilson Elementary Track Meet is always wonderful. If we can move it a little to earlier in the year where it's not so warm. Even though it was really early morning, it still got really hot really quickly for the kids, but I know that's a traditional thing. Spiro competition was excellent. That was awesome. And the kids were really into it. That was cool. I actually went to, when I was up in Tallahassee, I went to a high school competition similar to that, and it was Junior Lego League, but it was high school version. And same thing, the kids wear team uniforms and they go crazy, and they had mascots running around, but the computering, the coding they were doing for the computers was just tremendous. So it was great when kids kind of be able to get sports and academics kind of combined. The art show at Vero Beach Museum, I attended that as well. That was really nice. I found out about it last second, so I was doing a lot of miles that day. I visited a few schools in between all of these little visits. I'd stop at a school, and they didn't know I was showing up. And I just walked in to say, hey, what's going on? And I was so impressed every single time. I did not catch anybody off guard. You would have been so proud of them all. Vero Beach baseball, I went to the district game and I went to both regional games that were here. And, you know, they're going to the states and the finals. And lacrosse, same thing. I went to theirs and I got to see the last, literally the last, I don't even know what you call it, pitch or whatever, throw, because that was the same time that we were giving away all that money. So there are lots of events going on at the same time, but amazing what our athletes are doing right now. Teacher and staff appreciation, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for all you do. And I know you had to split it into 2 weeks this year. I was very confused by that, but then I listened to Bob Seuss and I heard why you did it, so I appreciate that. I believe in school choice, yes, but I also believe in accountability for tax dollars. And I'll leave it at that. It needs to be that the money follows the child, yes, but then money also needs to be accountable to the taxpayer. Where is our money going? That's what I'd like to know. I just want to make sure kids are getting educated. That's what I care about. And Dr. Posca, thanks for asking for board unity. I appreciate that tonight. Thank you. Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is going to be, the next month is going to be extremely busy. There's something absolutely every night between now and our next board meeting. So thank you, staff, for representing all of us every night. Am I concerned about balancing in any of this year's budget? No, I'm not. Am I worried about creating a balanced budget for next year? No, I'm not. Is there great concern in us being more efficient and effective about marketing and advertising the great things that you all just referenced? Yeah. And I believe without a doubt, the best place to educate your child is a public school, and honor and celebrate, and have made the choice myself not to use a public school. So we need to make sure that we're actively doing everything in our power to ensure, as a public school system, we are effectively communicating the power and purpose of the work that our teachers and administrators do each and every single day. Yep, it was referenced, graduations are coming up. I was thinking about trying out a new speech, but I'm going to stick with it. I've been doing it for 20 years, so be ready. Thank you.
All right, I would like to thank everyone for viewing, coming out this evening to our meeting. At this time, we're going to adjourn the meeting at 9:04.